You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
There you
Hey!
You got it.
And we are here
It's
to
a
talk
lot
about...
easier when there's only 3 people.
go. Yeah, I don't know about that fourth cue, that's number 3, number 4. Yeah.
That's when it gets confusing for the folks, because they know
Yeah.
like 1 and 2 is going to be here,
Yep.
and then it's just chaos order.
Start splitting them up.
That's great, but we'll figure it out. We find a way.
Absolutely.
Michael, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
We're going to be minus Wayne this week. Wayne's got a anniversary. Happy anniversary, Wayne, if you're out there listening somewhere, if you're listening on playback later. He's got a wedding anniversary that they're celebrating tonight. I believe it's a wedding anniversary, right?
My understanding.
There
I'll
you
give
go.
an achievement for that.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So, yeah, they're doing their thing tonight, and we'll go with the 3 of us. Unless William or somebody pops in. Who knows? Who knows what might happen?
You
But
never
anyway.
know.
Time roller in the chat saying, "What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Whoops.
Whoops."
Yeah. But Thursday night call-in show, as we do every Thursday night, we want to hear from you. We want people to call in, talk to us about what's been going on with your gaming in your area, in your neighborhood. We got a lot of stuff we can talk about. There's a fair amount of news that's come out in the last week, so there's good stuff there.
I was going to say we open up the phone lines maybe at 9:30 since we're staying on for 2 hours now. Maybe
Yeah.
give us an opportunity to share some stuff.
Yeah, we can do that.
Open up the phone lines at 9:30. I'll put a banner on here to let people know.
Yeah, well, we'll start the phones a little later, and then maybe turn them off a little early so we can hit the big board. I want to make sure we hit the big board today.
Yeah, we have lots of games to talk about.
Ran out of time last week, so we didn't get to slap some new games up there. But we got a handful we want to discuss, and some of them may make the board, some of them may not. And then Mike can chime in and give his criticism of our picks and our placings. So that's what that's what happens here. But again, main focus of the show is once we get those lines turned on, we'll tell you. Carlos will run a banner with the phone number down at the bottom once the phone lines are open. Oh, there you go. Phone lines opening at
Very
9:30.
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I said let's be transparent.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of fun news going on, and I figure this gives each an opportunity at the beginning of the show to provide a segment, a topic, something
Nice.
to share
Ooh, I didn't prepare.
for us to discuss a little bit,
Okay.
prime the crowd for conversation, and then we just open up the phone lines and let the crowd tell us why we were completely wrong.
Okay. That works for me.
I didn't prepare Michael,
I
so
didn't prepare, so
I'm going to
yeah.
let Michael know. Mike, you're next. So I'm going to come up with a topic,
Yeah.
and then if you got topics for the folks at home, any new games you've been playing, things you want to share, this is the segment to do it in, and then Rob and I get to talk to you about what you brought up.
Sounds good.
And I know we got some of our regulars are at Escape WinterCon over in Orlando today.
I'm so
Conventions,
jealous.
yeah, I know. Convention started yesterday, so we may be a light on a few of our regular callers. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe they're listening at the con. Maybe they'll call in. But hopefully they're busy gaming. That's what they're supposed to be doing at a gaming convention. So just wanted to throw that out there. But while Carlos preps his topic here.
Yes. So my topic for the day, for this moment, it
Precious.
just came up, just popped up, and I saw it on the way to, it was a school board meeting that I went to right before this event happened. And I wanted to bring up this just like nobody's been talking about this other than inside the Unmatched Facebook group that I'm a part of. And it's a backer kit announcement in 27 days, launching in 27 days. Get ready for Unmatched Adventures.
I haven't heard of this yet. I saw something posted about it, but I hadn't seen or
It's
heard
like
anything
Legacy?
about it yet.
We don't know, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Is that a thing? We don't know anything yet?
We don't know anything. Like this is
Okay,
it.
I haven't
This
heard
is
anything.
the only What's great is in place of a vacuum, it allows for all kinds of speculation.
Oh, yeah.
Vacuum
Okay.
of information allows for speculation. So I figure let's speculate.
Speculate. Okay.
What do you think this means, Robert?
Unmatched Adventures. Well, again, I to be honest, I hadn't thought too far about it because I just, like I said, I saw a headline posted, just an hour or two ago, but I didn't read anything. All I saw was pretty much what's there. Get ready for Unmatched Adventures, something along that line.
Yeah, I started a channel in the Discord.
Okay, that's what it
called
was.
For the Beans and Dice group the Beans and
News.
Dice podcast in our call it the news.
Yeah, the news, yeah.
But I'm attaching it to the call-in show.
That's where I saw it.
As a place for me to send articles to. Number one, to remind myself of things I want to talk about when the
Okay.
show comes on.
Yeah, cool.
But number two, for y'all folks who are part of the Discord, to also throw in any topics or news that you think is worthy for the show to bring in. So that's probably where you saw it, Rob.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. So I don't want to steal Mike's thunder here, but he just said something about legacy or something, and that's kind of what it sounds like. Adventures, right? I mean, it sounds like you're going to string some things together. You're going to have some adventures. I'm guessing maybe cooperative.
I was
don't know.
going to say co-op dungeon crawl.
What? Yeah,
Yeah?
right. What's
Okay.
the other co-op that recently came out, or I'm sorry, competitive game that recently came out with a co-op version? The Dice one, Dice Throne.
Dice Throne.
Dice
Okay.
Didn't they come out with a
Is it
cooperative
co-op? I don't know. Is there a co-op Dice Throne?
and like an adventure system?
I don't know.
There
Is
was
there
a,
a co-op
there was some
one?
kind of campaign. I don't know if the campaign is co-op. I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know enough about it.
Well, let's pull it
Yeah.
up in the BGG and find out.
Take a look. See.
Let's find out. Anybody in the chat can bring that up.
Yeah, if anybody knows anything about this, if anybody's got any insight or what have you, certainly throw that out there. I see James Odak there in the chat says yo, and James is one of those that is at Escape Winner. So I appreciate you listening and chiming in. Hopefully,
It's even called Dice Throne Adventures. I think.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, Mike, or somebody hit it on the head. It was Carlos hit it on the head.
Yeah, Carlos.
Yeah, Adventures.
Let's see.
So
What's the
does it
quick
say
way?
it's co-op?
Explore, loot, and battle on your way to the end of the Mad King's reign.
Does it say co-op? And it should do mechanics.
Dice Throne is a cooperative,
Yeah.
expansion that
There you
allows
go.
4 players.
Okay.
So somebody at Restoration Games probably saw something like this and thought, we can make a cooperative game
Could be.
using our mechanisms,
Could be. Yeah.
There's
the
also-
mechanisms from Dice Throne or from Unmatched.
Role player adventures also. That
There you
was
go.
Another recent one using the adventures subtitle or title.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I immediately thought of that. Possibly co-op, possibly some kind of campaign, stringing some stuff together. Like you say, probably dungeon crawler. I mean, that's sounds pretty on the nose. So obviously, just complete speculation here from just that title is all we're doing. But yeah,
No
interesting.
inside information here.
Yeah,
No,
nothing- no.
we don't got that.
Last to hear, last to know.
But this does pique my interest.
Yeah,
It definitely does.
yeah, that's
Because Unmatched has
You're a
got
fan
an
of
awesome
Unmatched.
combat system.
That's what I'm wondering though. Do you think it's a system where you're going to be able to use the old stuff? Because that would seem weird. Because you got Buffy, you've got some kind of weird stuff, and then trying to bring that into some type of cooperative adventure game. I don't know. Or is it going to be a whole new system or a whole new set?
Well,
of
they do the
figures, or
4-player box sets. That's like their
Right.
normal standard.
Right,
Then they
right.
do those specialty box sets of 2 players.
1 or 2s. Yeah.
I could imagine this being like a Cobble and Fog 4-player box set with 4 miniatures in it and a campaign.
Okay.
Right? I could see that.
Yeah.
All right.
But then it would be super cool if they allowed you to pick any character from their systems to play in that campaign. Because I could be like Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
and you could be the Raptors.
The Raptors, yeah, or the what's the T-Rex? They got the T-Rex now.
Shoot.
Just that monster T-Rex.
Go around beating their campaign up.
It's like 4 squares, 4 tiles, 4 hexes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I say, all I saw is I think I just was scrolling through the Discord earlier, and you're right. That's exactly where I saw it. Is you posted it in there, and I scrolled by it, and I didn't think too much about it. I figured there was an article or something I could click on. I figured I'd take a look at it later, but I didn't get into it because I started a little bit of a gaming before I came over with the kids tonight. So
And the other bit of news that I had was also Unmatched as well, and it's the idea that now Unmatched Dicebreaker brought it up in their article is starting to do this vault system.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if we talked about the vault last week.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And you get this, so almost like a Disney feeling to it. Remember back when we were kids?
Yeah, yeah.
Disney would put movies in the
vault.
vault. Right, you better hurry up and buy the VHS before it goes in the vault.
They'd unlock some and bring some out and put them back away. Yeah.
Well, I guess they're using that moniker for this idea, this change. They're going to be taking games, systems or setups from their game system, Restoration Games is, and they're going to be putting them in the vault. So it's your last chance to pick up, I believe, Cobble and Fog is going to be one of the first ones going into the vault, which is a really good 4-player setup. And then I think there's Robin Hood and Bigfoot was the other one that's going in the vault. So it's your last chance to get the Cobble and Fog and the Robin Hood. They're not reprinting anymore. Once the sales go out, once they sell all the stock, those are going to the vault. Nobody can find them anymore.
Well, let me ask. I know, Carlos, you're much bigger fan of the Unmatched than I am, and I know, Mike, how big into the Unmatched
Never
you
played.
are.
Still.
Okay. So, do we know if is there a organized play system, formal tour or anything? I don't know what to refer to as I guess organized play is what they call it for Unmatched. Is there a tournament system?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I haven't seen an organized play come from Restoration Games directly. but I know that I've hosted myself some tournaments. It is a great system for
sure.
tournament hosting.
The reason I ask is just because when things sometimes some of the card games and stuff, they may retire certain sets of cards because there's so much out there, it may unbalance things, and it helps them kind of put a few things away for a little while, maybe figure out how to balance some things, bring them back out later. So I wondered if maybe that was some motivation here, if there was a tournament system, an organized
Maybe they're
play
moving
system.
into a
Maybe.
organized play system.
Maybe they're trying to get rid of some stuff that's not balanced. I don't know. Yeah,
Interesting.
that'd be interesting, or I know some people have said it's just because of the sheer amount of content that they're pushing out. What is it, 8 new sets they've already announced for 2023? It's either 6 or 8 new sets that are coming out, and they've already got I don't know how many sets out. So people are just saying with just the amount of content, maybe they just don't want all that on the store shelves. But it's a problem for retailers if a
And
retailer
the
is trying.
manufacturing side too.
Sure. Yeah, they can retire some of those molds and some of the stuff that they're using. But yeah, shelf space is what that's what I heard some people saying, is that if a local game store is trying to carry all the Unmatched stuff, if you're now you're dedicating a whole shelf, and that's probably just by having one copy of each thing. And if you've got others, you really don't have the shelf space to put multiple copies out. So
Very true.
It's kind of a management thing for the local game stores. So
Sounds like Restoration Games agrees with you, Rob.
yeah, maybe. So that's I picked that up from somewhere. That's not my thought, but anyway, that's part of it. But again, I just hit me with the organized play that maybe that had something to do with it. But maybe they are going to look at something like that. So they're looking at maybe limiting the stuff that's out there at any one time. Who knows? So
Makes sense.
interesting stuff.
Those are the topics that I had, and Ron Frazier's in the chat saying new show format tonight. Yeah, Ron,
A little bit.
We're going to take a moment here to just run through some of the topics that we had, kind of prime the conversation,
Ron's itching to call. That's what
and allow y'all to call in right at 9:30
Must
to
be-
tell us about either what you've got going on or talk to us about what we talked about.
you can still be number one, Ron. We just gotta wait till 9:30 Eastern here, just about another 15 minutes, and then we're gonna open it up. So
Michael, any topics for the folks at home?
Yeah. I was going to talk about a game that I played last week, but Chad there in the comments had a very interesting comment about.
well,
Gloomhaven
that was
hitting
going to
number
be the
3.
topic. The topic I was going to come up with, was that
Yeah.
exactly. But
So
go ahead, Mike.
just a couple of things on that. I think it's pretty cool that Brass hit number 1. Definitely took a little while for it to get there, so it seems pretty deserved. Earth taking number 2. So this one, I backed this game on a whim. I like the look of it, and I really didn't know much about the gameplay other than it was like heavy card play. And I had like this it's getting ready to ship very soon. And the Dice Tower did a 4-square review, or their normal review, and all 4 of them were like head over heels about this game. And
9, 9.5, and 10 were the 4 ratings.
Yes, I saw that.
So I think it hitting number 2. I know they joke about this on the Dice Tower, but the Delicio factor, he was the one that gave it a 10. I am so excited to play this game now, and I can't wait for it to arrive.
Me too.
And just kind of shifting, Chad, if you notice, Frosthaven's already at number 4. So I definitely see those two switching very soon, and Frosthaven is probably going to bump up to number 2 or number 1 here pretty soon, I would think.
Well, there's the whole controversy thing, so I mean, we can't go past this without the controversy that's going on. Oh, you haven't heard all the... So there was an active campaign.
What did Wayne call it? Shithousery?
Yeah,
I know we're not after 10 o'clock.
There was an active campaign to bring down Gloomhaven, is what people are saying, and the bunch
Actually,
BGG has tracked that people have gone on and changed their ratings on Gloomhaven to 1s to actively try to bring it down from higher ratings. And so there was a campaign online of people that were pushing to have people go out and to remove Gloomhaven from the number 1 spot. They were asking people to go in, and if they hadn't rated Gloomhaven, even if they had never played Gloomhaven, to go on to BGG and give it a 1 so that they could bring it down out of the top spot because they felt it had been there long enough, and for various other political reasons.
What political reasons? Or
just reasons of that Tom had they had a whole segment on Board Game Smorgasbord this morning. They talked about him and Delicio and Z talked about it for about 15 minutes, but they talked about the financial benefits that a game that is number one on BGG has.
Right. Sure.
And just by being number one, you sell more copies, you get more publicity.
It's right in your face right away. So yeah,
exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah. So
here's a post from the Secret Cabal that finds it to be the opposite.
okay.
That Brass took the win, took the one, and then the Gloomhaven fans came in.
It went both ways. It was first there was a campaign against Gloomhaven, and then
Brass took the spot.
Then the Gloomhaven people came back and they said, okay, well, anybody who then likes Gloomhaven, make sure you bump your rating up to a 10 on Gloomhaven and actively go in and give Brass ones. And
so
now,
here's the Secret
so
Cabal Gaming Podcast talking about it, right? Yeah. And they're talking about how it makes them sad. Because here's the one votes on Brass Birmingham last month so far. So in February, there were 62 one votes for Brass Birmingham, when in January it was only 6, December it was only 2. So you see this artificial bump in low ratings for Brass Birmingham after it took the number one spot.
Right. And that happened to Gloomhaven first. Again, there's a whole tracking thing that they've looked at it. That there was a campaign out there, again, against Gloomhaven first. And then so, I mean, like I say, if you want to get into the depths of it, again, I recommend that you watch that segment from the Dice Tower this morning. They did
all
a
I
real
have
good
to
job.
say about that is this is why we can't have nice things, people.
Exactly. And Tom said it's just, he actually said, if you have participated in this, he considers you a bad person. He said, no two ways about it. If you're going in there artificially grading games either that you haven't played just because you don't think he talked about Arc Nova as well, that Arc Nova is now people are promoting going in and having people give Arc Nova ones, and so now it's kind of this cool thing to do that people are again Carlos can agree with that, but so it's just, and it's like they're asking people, have you played Arc Nova? Well, no, I've never played it, but it doesn't deserve to be number 4. And it's just the whole, again, the political thing that people got excited because it shot to number 4 out of nowhere. And then so now there's this campaign of people who haven't even played it feel that a game that's only been out for, at that point, it'd only been out for a couple of months and it shot to number in the top 10. And so now there seems to be now it's a game that it's not, these ratings are really going to be arbitrary, even though they were somewhat before. Now it's actually a game.
Even more.
Yeah, even more so that people are just going to go in and just start rating stuff crazy just because I don't like that box cover. I think that looks stupid. Or I don't like that mechanic in the game.
Oh, remember I brought this up probably a year or so ago, but that one guy, I just happened to come across a review where the guy said, requires an app. That's a 1.
Everything with an app gets a 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that guy.
When you looked at all his other, not all his other reviews, but some of his other reviews, it was just requires an app 1. He didn't even play the game. It was just come on, guys. And
that must have been Steven that called into the show.
And so Tom's just real quick, one of Tom's things, and he promoted Z, kind of gave some counterpoints to it, but Tom said, well, what BGG should be able to do is they should be able to go back and look at the last 30 days of ratings for the games in the top 10, and anybody who changed their rating to a 10 or to a 1, they should just flat out go and eliminate all of those ratings. Z came back at him this morning and said, well, he goes, well, how far do you push that then? Do you say 9s and 2s?
Once
do you
start
say 8s and 3s? Right, it's a slippery slope. So at what point do you go in and eliminate all those? And Tom was like, well, yeah, you're right. It's there's got to be a line somewhere. He said, but if they can prove that somebody had rated Gloomhaven an 8 before and now it's a 1, they should just eliminate that. They should just go and wipe the slate clean of all those
the
votes.
person themselves.
Possibly.
Just send a BGG squad right to their house, break ankles.
Just get
you
rid
know
of
what they should start doing is charging for a blue check authentication on the reviews.
Yeah.
$5. $5 to get checked.
Yeah.
But Michael, what are your thoughts? I have some thoughts on this that I want to bring in too. So Michael, what are your thoughts?
As far as the whole shenanigans on the voting?
The BGG ranking shenanigans and all that. Yep.
Well, I've emailed them in the past and, said, you got this guy throwing 1 reviews up there just because of blah, 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 it requires an app and, but I can't remember who it was, but somebody released a video on how, because there's a specific term for the type of rating system that BGG uses. It's a well-known thing where
Wayne knows.
It's a weighted system.
Right. And it takes a number of votes for it to sway any way, either way.
Well, BGG preloads a certain number. I forget how many hundreds of
1,400 something
of
like
fives. They put it all fives so that there's a midpoint where it takes a bunch of ratings, either high or low, to sway it off of the 5. Yeah.
Right, but if you have campaigns out there, I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, because I kind of agree with Z. It's like, okay, well, if you take the 1s and 10s out, then like you said, how far do you take it? And when does it stop? It's like once this ball gets rolling, it's one of those things where it either has to lose interest in the general public, where they just don't care about doing it anymore, or enough people aren't doing it where it makes a big deal, or it just could literally, I mean, who knows? It could ruin this whole portion of BGG, and then they'll have to figure out what they need to do on their end to to clean it up, or
you can see my ratings. I've never rated Arc Nova. Maybe I should go in there and rate it.
Give it a 1.
Give it a 1. Dang near close to what I would have really given it.
You've at least played it. So again,
3 times, and I called it garbage all 3 times.
The fact that there's no requirement to rate a game, I mean, you can go in and give any game anything, and so
I mean, maybe I forget what was the other. What's the other board game website that you're a member of, Carlos?
Board Game Nexus.
Nexus. Yep.
Board Game Nexus, where it's not a huge fee for the annual sign up, but you kind of have this feeling like, okay, well, if you're paying whatever it is for the year, how much is it? Like $5 or $10 or something like that?
I think it was $10 for the year is what I spent.
$10 for the year, so you're paying less than $1 a month, and you kind of have this. A stronger feeling that, like, okay, if you're going to be paying for this website, you're not just paying to go dump, crap reviews or boost a game. It's like you're actually putting reviews out there that you care about or that are legit. So I don't know what the answer is. Carlos, what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so my thoughts. I was listening to the Secret Cabal podcast, and they were trying to figure out ideate ways to fix this issue with the rating. And y'all will see this live right here. I like this system because it has the descriptors, and I try to abide by that as much as possible.
Right. And you should.
3 different star ratings,
So that at least we're all on a similar page. So as an example, I'm here in Arc Nova. I don't know if I want to give it a 4 stars because it says not so good, but would play again, which is accurate. I mean, I would never not play it again. But I don't know if I'd go as far mediocre. I think mediocre. So 5 stars for me feels about right.
Feels about what I hear from you.
I even had it on the want to play.
Want to buy.
So I'm going to want to buy list. So I'm going to take that off the want to buy list and hit save. So I think if most people would do that, we would have more accurate, valid ratings. But one of the ideas that they had on the Secret Cabal was almost like an IDBM style. I'm sorry, what's the other one?
IMDb?
No,
IMDb.
the other one.
The
fresh one. Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Not the onion.
Maybe have 2 scores. You've got the people's score,
right,
and then you've got the critic's score, right? And I'm not sure what it takes to be a critic. Maybe it is a $10 fee, right? Maybe you got to put something in the pot to call yourself a critic. Maybe you're a content creator.
Content creator, yeah.
But a organization or a group of people that provide their more critical evaluation of the game, and then we as the people can see, here's what the critics, I don't know what that means yet, say, and here's what the people say. Because I do that when I go look at a movie's rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I know that I tend to align with the people more than I do the critics. So if I see the critics giving it a bad score, I'm more apt to give it more weight.
Right.
Like, that might be an okay movie for me than if I see the opposite, where the critics are giving a high score, but the people are giving a low score. So maybe a little more granular information if we went something that route.
Possibly, but if you've got these campaigns, then the people's score is always going to be swayed by that. So what really stock could you put in the people's score?
Then maybe weigh the critics' score, but the people's score will always be there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like Chad's, and I've never met Chad. I don't think I've met Chad.
I don't think so.
But I like where he's headed with it. A bunch of children. It's like when people vote 1 and say I voted 1 just to balance out the no or the 10s.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. They talked about that this morning on Dice Tower, and Yeah, how it's just. I know Tom said he's like, what people can't like both of these games. You can't be a fan of Gloomhaven and Brass. I mean, those are both in my top 10 all time. So I'm definitely a fan of both. But and I'm not that upset that Gloomhaven is still my number one. I like Gloomhaven better than Brass, but I am definitely not upset that
Why
Brass
should you be
passed.
upset? There's no. Yeah, I mean, this is just.
Do you really think Frosthaven though, Mike, is gonna rise to the top?
Well, in my opinion, I think Gloomhaven. I mean, and I haven't played Gloomhaven all the way through. I haven't played Frosthaven at all. Frosthaven may have, enough benefits to it where people who have played Gloomhaven are kind of like, all right, we've already played it. Let's move on to Frosthaven, and they could be like, oh wow, this is really a better game, and then they, vote accordingly or rate it accordingly. And I just think I don't think Gloomhaven's ever going to fall off the list 100%, or even get out of the top 100 in our lifetime. But it just seems natural that the newer, possibly more streamlined or more involved one will eventually bump the previous one out of its own spot.
Well, here it is at 552, so we can watch this thing climb.
Vassal predicted it will not be in the top 100 by the end of the year. That was one of his beginning of the year predictions.
I haven't heard him say that, but I'm going to agree with him. And my reason for agreeing with him is I think Gloomhaven really came in at like a wrecking ball.
Sure.
Like completely different.
I don't know where.
It crossed so many streams for RPG players, Euro gamers, families, co-op. Like it hit on so many notes.
Target.
Yes.
Jaws of the Lion.
Jaws of the Lion,
Yeah.
which is probably, I think, rated for me way better than Gloomhaven. But I think that hype, that equity that it built isn't going to transfer over to Frosthaven. If you've already played Gloomhaven and you liked it, maybe an 8, are you really going to spend $250 to buy Frosthaven? Right, when you still haven't even finished your 100 hours of Gloomhaven. Most people aren't like you, Rob.
Yeah, we'll see.
Major majority of folks have never finished Gloomhaven.
You're going to spend $100 on the guy that never played Frosthaven, but then it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
I just don't think that those numbers will transfer over. I think it's going to hold Frosthaven down.
How much did you say for Frosthaven?
$250?
$299, but okay.
Wow.
Is it that much?
Yeah, well, that's the retail price. When it goes retail, it will be $299.
Rob's going pinkies out as he drinks.
Exactly.
Right?
I got it for $120. Yeah, that's MSRP. Yeah. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you'll find it for less, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I got to, just before I forget, I got to throw in one last little bit.
You got
and
3 minutes.
They talked about this, I know, on the Dice Tower this morning as well. That very classy by Isaac Childress and Cephalofair Games. I don't know if y'all saw, but they actually posted an article welcoming or congratulating Brass on passing them.
Yeah.
They actually commissioned a piece of art. I don't know if you saw it. It's the train pulling into the station, and it shows it's the Brass Birmingham train pulling into the station in the number 1 spot. It's got a big number 1 on the side of the train, and so I mean, really
cool.
classy. Yeah, they really did it right. So they weren't bitter about the thing. They talked.
They be?
Right.
But they're not. It's us.
Yeah.
Grognards. It's us. Neckbeards over here in the gaming space in our basements arguing about this. Nobody else is arguing about this.
Yeah. I mean, they're still number 4 now out of all time every board game ever made. So I mean, come on, that's incredible still.
Chad agrees with me, which is why I like him. I feel that Gloomhaven is a unique situation. I feel like the people that would even attempt to play Gloomhaven are not your casual gamers,
Sure.
and because it's a good game, will naturally get average high ratings.
Yeah.
Right.
It's deep. It's deep.
I just don't know if that'll transfer over to Frosthaven.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But that gets us almost to the 9:30 hour. Mike, you had a game you wanted to chat about. What game was that? You got 3 minutes.
I can get it in 2 minutes. Anyway, it was a game. Have you?
Nobody calls in immediately.
Except don't tell Ron that.
Ron's waiting for the 9:30 to call in.
I know he is. He's got his hand on the dial button already. So Dogs of War, 2014. I don't know if you guys have played this before. It's worker placement meets tug of war meets influencing other people at the table.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it.
I didn't think I was gonna like it when it was being taught and on the table, but there is so much influence in this game as far as like trying to get other people on your side to kind of like pull the rope in your direction or get the points on your side, and the whole scoring mechanism of it, and it was just a really neat game as far as just convincing people to side with you. And kind of some people, you may play like the fly under the radar type of person where you're just racking points up and nobody knows it, until the end of the game. Where
Rob tended to do that
that'd be me.
really well.
So this is negotiation then, huh? I'm not
not necessarily negotiation. So the pawns there on the board. So the board changes every round. I think it's played in 4 rounds, and then those 6 spots that are on the cards there, you have like 6 different colored factions, like white, green, blue, and so on. And everybody's dealt a card face down, and it's going to be one of those 6 factions. So every victory point, if you have that faction's card, is going to be worth 2 points instead of 1. And then there's this whole system of the factions moving up and down the board where each victory point is worth different numbers depending on the outcome of this tug of war. So you're placing your pawn out, and sometimes you'll get a little reward for the little space that you put it on, but you have this like dial going back and forth, and you're trying to make one team win over the other. But this whole time, it's like, you put a pawn down and it moves one way this way. Well, another person at the table may have the other faction's color, so they don't want that one to lose, but they don't want to make it obvious that they have that faction, because then people start ganging up on each other. But there's this whole, I think by like the middle of the first round, because this was my first time playing, I think 3 out of the 5 people that were playing, it was their first time playing. It was kind of like, okay, yellow, like, you and I, we're in it to win it on this side, for the rest of the round. And then somebody on the other side like drops, well, now I've got 10 points, that shifts the button going back the other way. And then other people kind of bail on you because there's like, there's no way we're going to win. I'm sorry, I got to leave you out, and I'm going to go over here on this battle. It's a very fun game. And, you pick up like powers as you go along that you can drop cards anytime you want to kind of, switch sides if you wanted to, or your powers are worth a little bit more this time. But
now, Rob, this has a feeling almost. It sounds like
something.
War Whispers. What is that?
Could be a little bit.
I've never played that before.
Because you've mentioned this game before. You played it a couple times, Rob, and you've talked about it. Where you're not quite sure what side other people are on.
Yeah,
and you don't want to give up what side you're on. You just want to influence other people to support the color that you're trying to.
I was trying to remember how many houses there are in that one, but you're kind of the secret back society influencing the. You're not on any particular team, but at the beginning you've got these bid markers, and you're setting them to one you want to heavily influence, or one you're really going to get points in, one you're kind of get a little bit of points in, and then one you're trying to demote. And you put them face down, and there's some points in the game where we're doing different things. You can switch them around, or you can reveal them and get some abilities or whatever. But there's definitely some hidden, and then everything's played on a main board. You're moving armies and attacking, but you can move any armies and you can attack any zone, and you're trying to throw off suspicion by doing some things that maybe not directly tell people who you're pulling for. And so
does that sound like almost maybe like what you're playing here, Mike?
That sounds like it has maybe a little bit more hidden stuff going on, where this is you have to purchase like soldiers every round, and the soldier value is different, and the cost is different, but you're playing soldiers as you're placing your pawn out. And you can't like once you start playing on one side, like for one, so you'll see how it's like 3 and 3. So there's 3 different battles going on at the same time, and you can place your pawn in any one of those 3 columns. But once you start playing for one side, you can't switch sides. Like you can't play both sides of the coin, so to speak.
Okay.
And that little red marker, like it goes up to 15 on each side. It starts in 0. But if you get it all the way to 15 before the round is over, that's like it's done. That battle is over. You can no longer move that button, away from the 15, and then it becomes like
almost like a Blitzkrieg style influence marker where you're pushing it from one side to the other.
Right, that's the tug of war part of it, and I forget what they call it, but if you ever get it at the end of the round 10 or higher, or if it hits 15 before the end of the round, it's like it's not called overkill. I forget what it's called, but the faction that won actually bumps up 2 spots on what the victory points are valued, and the opposite team, or no, they bump up 1 and the other one bumps down 2.
Down 1.
Or
I think
down 1.
the term they use in the rule book is kill-tastic.
Oh yeah.
No, kill-tacular.
Explosion.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
How'd you come across this? This one doesn't seem like new hotness. It doesn't seem like something that would have popped up on my radar.
Is it an older game? When did it come out?
It's 2014.
2014.
And,
Okay.
A friend of mine that I kind of go over there, maybe once every other week or something like that. He's always got like unique games, and he's like, "Oh, let's play this game," and I was like, "All right, whatever." I'm always down to play whatever. And man, like not even quarter way through it, I was like, "This is a really good game."
Oh,
So
sounds like it.
Well, on the phone, our first caller of the night,
yeah.
achievement unlocked, my man, Mitchell Prudhomme. Say hello, Mitchell.
What's up? I noticed the banner change. You guys didn't announce anything, but I figured I'd sneak on in before Ron because I saw that the banner had changed before
Piss
my
off,
open.
Ron.
Hey, he stole that position from me. He took advantage of me being busy. All right? So this is my right.
Claim it.
Back to it.
It's just like the land that I bought in Scotland, the square foot, so that I could be a lord.
Yeah,
yeah.
Lord Capetta.
This is my right. Mitch, what you got
Exactly.
going on, Poppy? It's great to hear from you.
I haven't heard from you in a while.
yeah.
Thank you.
Especially,
I'm
it's
glad
Fat
to-
Tuesday was this week, right?
Yes,
Y'all
I'm
had
actually
Mardi
off of
Gras
work.
down there, and I got my Fat Tuesday
Yeah.
cup. I'm putting it on the screen.
From New
Oh,
Orleans.
yeah, from New Orleans.
Yeah, I got this with you out in New Orleans. I keep drinking out of this thing. It's,
Yeah, but you're not like dying whenever you drink out of it now, right?
No, yeah, he's just drinking water now.
Yeah,
you should see the looks I get at work
Oh,
because
yeah.
I take this to work and drink at work with it.
Fat Tuesday.
But glad to hear from you, Poppy. What you got going on?
Yeah, well, so yeah, it is Mardi Gras, so we have the whole week off. I had told you guys last time I called in a few weeks ago, I was thinking about trying to make it out to Escape Winter, but ironic that Wayne is out on his anniversary dinner because tonight is also my anniversary, 10 years.
Nice. Congratulations.
And
Congrats.
I'm currently driving home from a board game night.
Oh.
So that's
man.
But hold on. We went on a family vacation that I chose to go on instead of going to Escape WinterCon, and we got back at 2 a.m. this morning, driving back in from Texas. So, I mean, I feel like I kind of earned a couple hours at a buddy's house.
There you go.
We allow it.
You
Right.
deserve it. Yeah.
Let Jill know that we
no,
say we allow it.
Okay, Jill and I we're not super sentimental when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, we have kids. We don't go out and have date nights or anything. So we she's fine. I'm not going to be sleeping on the couch tonight or anything like
That's
that.
good. That's good. You're safe.
Yeah, no, but anyway, so yeah, I'm currently between shows. I'm not directing a show right now, so I've actually been able to game a couple times in the past week, and I've finally gotten to play some of the newer games that I was really looking forward to. And so I haven't been listening the past couple weeks, so I don't know if I'm repeating anything, but one I was really excited about. Have you guys played or talked about Hickory Dickory from Plaid Hat?
I haven't played it. I've seen BJ. Is it BJ? Somebody's been posting up about it recently. I might have been on Board Game Gumbo.
I'm not sure about BJ. I know Jeremy. Jeremy's the one.
Jeremy, that
he
was
may
it.
have posted
That's
something
where
about it.
I saw it. You're right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
well, we're gonna bring up
Louisianans looking
about
like
it.
to Rob.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, this was one of those games that was announced. I think it was maybe the Summer Spectacular last year on the Dice Tower. I've been looking forward to it ever since. It's a worker placement game where you have these little mice running around this cuckoo clock, and it's a really cool mechanism where the board is a clock, and the minute hand moves around, and you can hop on the minute hand and go and jump off on a different action. So just the theme of it is very strong. But something about it really stood out to me, and it's something I think more games should implement. I want to ask you guys if you've seen this in other games. So for the cleanup phase, they have an acronym. So it's the word chirp. And so each letter in the word chirp stands for a different step in the cleanup phase between rounds. And so you're not having to look at a quick reference guide. You're not having to think, did we do everything we need to do? You just go through those 5 letters. And I thought it was really smart. And then, of course, it fits the theme, the chirping of a cuckoo clock. You guys know of any games that do that other than Hickory Dickory?
Use an acronym? I don't. But what does the chirp stand for? I'm interested in this.
So C stands for cat, because your little mice, every round you roll dice and some of the spaces get covered by cat paws, like you can't go there because there's a cat there. H is hour hand, so the hour hand tracks the rounds. You move to the next round. I is for inside circle. So the way that the mechanics work is you can be on a space but not do the action until you move to the outside of the clock. And to signify that it's a new round, you move to the inside part of the action. That's the I. R is replace, where you replace these cards and like these goods. And then P is priority, which the way that ties are broken essentially is there's just like a little grid of the 4 different colors, and it goes clockwise. And priority means you just slide it to the next color, so a new person breaks ties that round. So that's the CHIRP.
Interesting. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
I can't think of anything that specifically uses an acronym.
I don't know. They need to.
No, I can't.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought. I mean, I'm an acronym kind of guy. We talked about this a few weeks ago, how sometimes the memory stuff and being able to visualize things to help you remember things, I don't have that ability that some people do, apparently. And I guess 1 out of 10 was the statistic on that 1 out of 10 people just don't have that ability, which I think affects my ability to remember certain things like sequences in games and things like that. So I have to make up my own acronyms sometimes to try to remember like what's in a hand if we're doing a drafting and I got to pass something off. I a lot of times can't remember visualizing the images on the cards. So
See episode 3 ago when Rob talks about his inability to visualize, but continue.
That's what I said. Yeah, we talked about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But yep, that's where I started. But anyway, so I think that I think I would remember if I had played something with that, because it would jump to my mind, I think, in particular. But I don't think I can think of any.
I can see like you do the supply section of the game, and then everybody goes back to their home, right? And then you do the initiative, and then the turn order, right? So shit.
Yeah, gotcha.
No.
Yeah, see, the only problem with it was Lainey, I guess she forgot the theme of the game, and she thought the word was chimp. So she was like, what does the M do?
Funny.
Nice.
Chimp or chirp.
I love Louisiana.
Do you? Funny. What else did you play? I mean, you said you've got a few games in.
Yeah, so just today, actually, I played the new Uwe game, Atiwa. Have you guys played that one yet?
I have not.
The bat game, right?
Yeah. I think it's my favorite Uwe game I've ever played.
Really? Gosh.
Because, okay, Jeremy plays it to me as like Feast for Odin Light. And usually, I don't like stripped down versions of games, but it's not literally Feast for Odin Light. The thing about Feast for Odin I'm not a fan of is like, there are so many choices, and I'm fine with games with lots of choices. Hadrian's Wall, stuff like that. But whenever it comes to Uwe games, I feel like sometimes it jumps the shark where it's like, you can literally go an entire game and not interact with like 75% of the mechanics in Feast for Odin or Agricola, but even though there are lots of different choices in Atiwa, I feel like they're all intertwined with each other. The way it works is you have this board, and I think don't quote me on it, it's like 5 different tracks, and you have different components you're trying to move from the board, like into your farm. It's like there's animals and fruits and families and stuff. And like, as you remove them from your board, you're uncovering like benefits underneath them, and the benefits tie into the other tracks. So like, once you have X number of wild animals on your board, then it lets you put out in the reset phase, what there's no acronym for, X number of trees, which is the second track. And then whenever you have X number of trees, you can put out fruit, which is the third track. And so it's just like, it's all intertwined in a way that a lot of Uwe games, I feel like, are not intertwined, while still giving you that fun Uwe feel and having lots of choices. So it's definitely one I enjoyed a lot. One of my favorite recent releases that I've played.
Interesting.
And the theme is really cool, too, and it comes across strong.
I've heard a lot of people aren't crazy about this one. That's one of their less favorite Uwe games, so that's interesting to hear that you're liking it.
Well, maybe, so I'm not a huge Uwe fan. I don't know if that's a blasphemy or anything, but I mean, I think his games are solid, but I'm not like a fanboy for him like I am for Segmeier or something. So maybe as a casual Uwe enjoyer, maybe it is for me more.
Know thyself.
Funny. Okay. Well, I can see that. I mean, it seems to be like, from what you've said and what I've heard, seems to be kind of a little lighter than some of his more complex stuff. So maybe it's. I'm sure it's got an audience. It's got a 7.6 rating. So it's not definitely not a bad rating on the BGG. So, although
and it's not the weight for me that I like about it. It's just like I just feel like it's more Like, you know how you said, Rob, in Tapestry, you feel like the sideboard is an afterthought. It's kind of just tacked on. I feel like a lot of mechanics in Uwe games are like that. Yeah. And this it felt integrated. It felt like one whole piece to me.
Okay.
I think that's honestly what some people like about Uwe games, like, again, Agricola or Feast for Odin, where they're able to play each game completely differently and ignore certain parts of it. But I don't know. That's just not for me personally.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Is it though? Because when it comes to Uwe, there's only one right answer. Patchwork.
Patchwork. Oh, Caverna.
Okay.
Caverna.
Right. Good point. Hey, speaking of Patchwork, sorry if I'm changing the subject slightly, but I was in Dallas yesterday. This past week. We went there on a family vacation, and we were at Great Wolf Lodge, which is like this hotel with an.
Oh, I heard about this place. Yeah. Wifey's been talking about like one day taking the family to something like that.
It was kind of cool. The kids really enjoyed it. It was the best vacation ever. But anyway, I'm walking through the halls, and I see two people sitting at a table, clearly with a board game in front of them, and it was Patchwork.
Nice.
So I walked up, I was like, "You guys playing Patchwork?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, you know what this is?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry." But apparently they were just like on vacation. I know they were just on vacation looking for something to do, and I'm assuming they went to a pretty local game store, and they just picked up a few games, and like they got that, and what else did they grab? I'm trying to remember.
Cool.
Onitama.
Oh yeah, great.
And
oh man, I love
one other game. I was like, yeah. Awesome. I was like, yeah, you know, there's a con here in Texas, a pretty big one, BGG Con. You guys should check it out. But they were like literally, I was witnessing them putting their foot into the hobby for the first time.
Oh,
and it was interesting. They're like, yeah, this is a really cool game. I was like, yeah, if you think that's cool, there's a whole other. There's so much more. There's so much more than Patchwork.
Yeah.
Am I the only one here that struggles with that moment? Like
with
that moment when you meet.
It's a great moment.
Muggle, who's getting into gaming, right? And like, I just want to unzip and let the geek out.
Oh, that's what you want to let out. Okay.
And just be like, well, if you like Unitama, or if you like Patchwork, let's talk about Uwe. And let's talk about all
Caverna.
his games. And let's talk about, and then at this point, they like grab their kids and say, don't make eye contact with him.
Right.
You know, as they walk away.
Yeah, well, no, I get what you're saying. So they specifically mentioned that they wanted 2-player games. I think they were seeing, a couple without any kids. And so I suggested a few, and then, like my 2 kids and my wife are just standing there waiting. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go with my family. And then we passed by later and they were still playing. And I was like, oh, I got to talk to them again. And so I started a little bit more, and then my son's just like standing around waiting. I was like, I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to keep talking. But
that's what I'm talking about.
Promote the hobby. Yeah. Promote the hobby.
Like I'll go to Target with wifey, and I'll see like a couple folks strolling the aisle with the board games.
Yeah, they're looking up and down.
They're grabbing like, I don't know, what's the cat one? That stupid cat one.
The card game. It's all a bunch of cards.
Exploding Kittens.
There you go.
And I'm all like, oh well, if you like that, and wifey's giving me that dead eye, like stop, just stop right now, stop.
So Mitchell, what 2-player game did you suggest to them?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember
on the spot, because I know what I would have suggested.
I know. I can't remember.
I have one in mind too. Hold on, before he answers, Rob, get one in mind.
Okay, I got one.
You got one in mind. I got one in mind. Mike's got one in mind.
Yep,
What you got, Mitch?
I don't remember what I actually told them. So you guys go, and I'll think of.
Let him think.
I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
All right, who's going first?
I'll go first. Lost Cities.
Yeah.
Lost Cities. That's a good one. Oh, I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. Mike?
I would have gone a little bit over the deep end and said Undaunted Normandy.
Oh, what are you smoking crack over there?
Crazy.
Is crack legal in Portland now?
I agree.
Hey man, if you're gonna go big, go big. That's probably one of
husband
the best.
and wife, and you're like Undaunted.
Absolutely.
Oh. I'm going Hanamikoji. Little deck of cards, a couple tokens.
That's a great game too.
Yeah, just simple mechanics. Little I cut, you choose.
See, I give them the light at the end of the tunnel. You guys are getting them into the tunnel.
Yeah, they got a toe in the water. I'm putting their foot in the door. So yeah, I'm not shoving them all the way through.
Their head in the
vice. Some Undaunted. Yeah, you're putting their head in the toilet with Undaunted. Just flush.
Duct tape around the mouth. It's just.
I think what I told them was 7 Wonders Duel. but
Okay, good answer.
Okay, that's a little heavy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, that's a little on the heavy side. That might scare him a little bit, but I could do that. That's a great game. It's one of my favorite 2-player games.
Yeah. All right.
Or I could have gone with Star Wars Rebellion if I wanted to go crazy. 2-player game.
Gravy, man.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
That's my favorite 2-player game. That doesn't mean that they should start with that.
There you go. Well,
Well, I know you called in. It must be where you're located, at the moment. But don't forget, I send you the link each week, so you don't have to call
I know.
in.
So
You can pop in.
Here's the thing, actually. I like I said, I'm literally just driving home from board game night at Jeremy's, and I was looking forward, like, hey, I have a 30-minute drive home. I can entertain myself by
that's awesome.
calling in for part of that time. And then you guys weren't taking calls, so I almost dropped in and said, gosh, dang it.
Yeah.
The one night I'm free, but I was driving. That wouldn't have looked. What am I promoting? Distracted driving. So.
yeah. I know we upset Ron with the late start. I think he was looking to log in right at 9:00, be our first call. So he was like, "Hey, what's up with the new format?" So
It's always good to hear from you, though. The variety of games that are played at Jeremy's game days is stunning.
Yeah.
For the variety, like the different
I don't like
types.
that you just call that Jeremy's game days.
Oh,
Okay. Can it be Louisiana, Acadiana game day? Jeremy doesn't get
Cajun.
ownership of this.
Does it,
Cajun game
does
days
he hosts.
are like jambalaya. Whatever, I don't even know how to pronounce it
Carlos is
right.
scrambling right now. He's
Yeah,
scrambling.
now he's on the line. You can tell he's reeling a little bit.
There's like some sausage, some shrimp.
Yeah.
There's some, all kinds of stuff mixed in your game days. The variety of games is insane. Oh my God, those
Boudin?
are amazing.
Little boudin.
Dude,
Boudin.
Boudin.
Called Boudin.
Boudin. Sorry,
Boudin
Boudin.
rings. Hold on a second, Mitchell. Don't you go anywhere.
Uh-oh, Michael's going to grab something. Uh-oh.
I'll say,
I'm curious
Busch
now.
Gardens has a Mardi Gras
Yeah.
event going on. They had some
For the
beignets.
whole month?
Cannot say they were anything like Cafe du Monde.
You don't think?
No, but they had beignets. They had the beads. Everybody was enjoying themselves. What? Oh, hang on. Let me put
What's he
him on
got?
the big
Zoom in.
screen.
What is that? I can't. Blow him up. Blow him up.
Blowing 'em up.
King ring kit, baby.
So-
Boudin
Oh.
King ring kit.
Okay.
A ring kit? Okay, sorry. I'm on my phone, so I can't watch the video
Oh, you're a sucker.
and talk. What is Mike holding up?
It's like
So
a vacuum sealed
frozen-
package with dough.
Yeah, it's frozen. A Boudin ring.
Oh, it's a king cake?
kit. Yeah. No, king kit.
King
so like
Kit.
it's got the Boudin in it and the little
Is there a baby?
cheese, and it's like dough, and then you put everything in the oven and you bake it. I have friends that
It's a
live in
Boudin
Louisiana.
king cake? Is that what you're saying?
Boudin King Kit. But yeah.
KIT kit.
So okay, a king cake is usually something sweet, but it's a relatively recent phenomenon that they started making Boudin king cakes. I've actually never had one. Have you had just a regular king cake before or regular Boudin
Oh.
before, Mike?
Let me explain something to you, Mitchell. The last
Let me
time
learn
that I
you
was
something.
in
God,
Louisiana,
Let me learn you something.
the last time I was in Louisiana, I think we were there for, I want to say 4 days, and we tried, and I'm not exaggerating, probably close to a dozen different types of king cakes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I had
I'm-
cannoli
next time I'm
filled
going with Mike.
ones.
Crazy.
I had the whipped cream filled ones, the standard, your typical
Now he sounds like Bubba.
sugar, covered one.
Fried shrimp,
fried
shrimp
rice, shrimp
kebab.
on the barbie.
Yeah, so no, man.
Listen,
I'm
I'll be your
very-
Forrest, man. You can be my Bubba. Let's go to Louisiana.
Well, me and the
Oh,
wife
man.
keep talking. We can't wait to the Sobo this year.
October, right? I'm waiting for the dates.
because we want to go and eat again. That's what we want to. We want to go spend a couple days in New Orleans, and then we want to head on over to Lafayette and enjoy the jazz festival. That's what it was, or not? It wasn't jazz. It was.
It was Creole,
Creole.
like
It was a music
yeah,
fest.
like Zydeco
Nice.
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was good stuff. And
But that was just because the timing.
that's why they're doing it again this year. They're doing it. They're
Wait,
matching
yeah,
are they going to
Kirk
match them
down-
again?
Yes, yeah, that's the whole point of them.
Yeah, that's why they moved it to the fall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. so
okay,
it's-
even better. I
yeah.
thought we just accidentally crossed paths
Well,
with the
we
food
did.
festival.
They did
We
that
did
year,
because
but
of
from now
COVID.
on, they're matching them up. So,
Whoa,
yeah.
mind blown.
Yep. So yeah, we're talking. Me and the wife keep saying we can't wait. Just the other night, I said that we were
I
looking.
was trying to decide, like, what am I going to do in October? Because there's so many events for me in October to decide for. Because if I'm right, Mitch, was it October for board game?
I think
Board
that's
Fest?
right. I can double check real quick. Sobo.
yeah, I think. So,
Um,
All right, and we're trying to decide
Let's
what to do in
see.
October because there's Jamie Stegmaier's event, there's Crucible, and then my plans were the Sobo, the board game fest. But if there's going to be food, man, that was amazing.
Well,
Yeah,
Pull it
food
up
there is
here.
good, man.
W-
Have you ever
I'll
had?
allow you guys. Don't have to come every year. You can come every other year.
Oh, I'm coming.
Have you,
I'll be there this year.
have you eaten at that place, Mitchell? That they do like all the fried food, but they basically cut the loaf of bread. Like they cut the inside of the loaf of bread out, and they put everything inside the loaf of bread.
No, I've not even heard of that.
He's
Wow.
coming up with new stuff. He's just making stuff up. Have you
not,
heard of the
dude.
one where they cut open a
No, it's like you can
Buick
choose
and
like,
they inject it? Yeah.
like fried shrimp, or
No.
all the different types.
It's a turkey stuffed with a
fried food.
duck, the stuffed with a chicken.
Turducken. I know that one.
Okay. All right, I got to put
Yeah.
this thing back in the freezer before it defrosts.
Nice. Well, hey guys, I think I've used more than my share of time. I'm at 20 minutes.
wow,
But
that went
it was
fast.
good catching up with you guys.
Appreciate you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Great hearing from you.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat.
Don't
We'll
be
see
a
you soon.
stranger.
Okay, later.
That's our buddy Mitchell. There's the I found the website Sobo. Phone lines
find
open
us?
again 813-618-7099 for you folks at home.
Trying to find dates. Oh, there it is.
October 14th and
14th and
15th
2 days,
in Lafayette at the Student Union at the University of Lafayette.
Yep. Fun little convention. That was a good time last year.
That was
Or a little over a
It was
year
a great
ago.
trip.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed New Orleans. I enjoyed Lafayette. Yep.
What about Atlanta? We like Atlanta too.
Yeah, Atlanta's good. Yeah, I don't mind Atlanta. Atlanta's not so bad. Outdoors Atlanta in the wind is really good too.
What do you got going on there, Ron Fraser? You running? Sounds like you're outside.
No. I have a fan on.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
warm
going for like a
up
jog
here.
or something.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were out in the open air.
It's been like 80 degrees for the past couple of days, and this is crazy. Because it's still February. This isn't Central Florida.
Oh yeah, well, we hit almost 90 today, I think.
Oh man, I had snow yesterday.
Nice.
No,
Snow in Seattle.
not for me. I'm good.
No. What you got going on, Ron?
So, first of all, I want to say, great idea on the change of format. I think it is like very much needed. It gives you guys time to really like talk,
Cool.
and also gives people a chance to get listen to what you guys are talking about, and perhaps call in the comment on that if they don't have anything else they feel like they want to talk about.
Appreciate the feedback.
Well-
We've gone back and forth on that because, again, we want it to be a call-in show, so we want it to be about the caller. But then when the weeks where we have a few topics we want to talk about, we find sometimes we take calls the whole time and we don't ever get to our topics. So,
Or we do it at the end of the show when people don't have an opportunity to
Listen.
chime in and
Yeah.
provide their opinion on our topics.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I kind of thought about it, Ron.
Yeah.
You might understand this, like church, right? So like at my church, they're going to sing for like the first 25 minutes.
So you can be late.
Exactly. That's exactly right. The idea behind it is if they're singing the whole time, you don't feel guilty walking in late because everybody's standing up singing. So it gives an opportunity for everyone to arrive.
Okay.
You're right. It gives it makes a whole lot of sense. But
Thank you.
I did have things wanted to talk about that are related to the topics that you talked about
Bring it
in
on.
the beginning, because number one, like the fact that Restoration Games is putting, the Bigfoot and the Cobble and Fog
Lock them
set
up.
in the vault. That makes me kind of sad because those are two of my favorite sets out of everything that's been released so far.
Well, do you have them? If
Like-
you got them, they're going to be collector's items.
I have them. I have them for sure. But they're fan. But like, obviously, Bigfoot's one of the most powerful characters in the game so far. But I think Cobble and Fog is very tightly, very tight thematically. I just think it's fantastic. And 3 of those 4 fighters I find to be decent. Jekyll and Hyde, I feel like they could tweak, Jekyll and Hyde a little bit, but it's just, it's great. And, but I understand why they're doing what they're doing. And it's funny because when I first got interested in Unmatched, it was because of the Marvel stuff. So, like, I've done a 180. Like I like the Marvel stuff, and I can't wait for Team Spirit to come out because I want Cloak and Dagger. But I just think they're a great hero duo. But it was the Marvel stuff that got me to pay attention to Unmatched, for real. And now, like, my favorite stuff is like the Cobble and Fog, and I find Beowulf is really cool.
Yes, I like Beowulf.
Yeah. And then I have Bruce Lee. I haven't figured out Bruce Lee, but I'm glad I got my hands on him and Deadpool.
I got them both.
By the way. Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. The Marvels, I haven't purchased, other than Deadpool, I haven't purchased a single Marvel Unmatched system at all.
Like intentionally, or why?
They just don't draw me. They're not doing it for me. Like, it doesn't draw me in at all.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I wasn't going to get Team Spirit, but like I had changed my mind because I want Cloak and Dagger. I could leave the.
You don't want Squirrel Girl?
Squirrel Girl.
I could take the lead Squirrel Girl and think it was same thing with Miss Marvel. This was a set I was least interested in, but now, I'm interested in getting it because of Cloak and Dagger. And then King and Country, I like, Black Panther and Winter Soldier and Black Widow, like. But yeah, so that'll be just about everything. Because I don't have Houdini versus Genie, and that might be it.
Sounds like you got bit by the bug.
Yeah, so it's a great game, and the whole. I've read about the co-op version of the game, and I don't know, like. I don't know about this. Like, I'll tell you what. When there are certain games and themes that, for me, it has to be a certain way. For example, the Street Fighter, right? A few weeks ago, I talked about the Street Fighter game by Dasco. And how it's fine. It's a fine game, but I really like the minis and all that kind of stuff. But Colossal's doing a Street Fighter game, and it's co-op. And there might be a competitive mode in it, but it's co-op. I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? Like, this is... and then... It's Street Fighter. And I feel the same way with Unmatched. Like, this is a fighting game or a team, team versus team game. Kind of how I feel about it. So
I can see the appeal in going the route of the adventures because of the work they put into building a combat system. As an RPG gamer, Ron, I'm sure you would admit one of the draws for different RPGs is the different combat systems. And we both have to admit, Unmatched has an awesomely fun combat system. No dice, no luck, a little bit of luck.
Right, because you have the card, because
card draw.
You have a big card draw, but this is one of those things that's just, I guess I would consider idiosyncrasy. It's something idiosyncratic.
Sure.
For me.
I don't even know what that means. English is not my first language.
It means something that like a preface that I have that doesn't necessarily make sense.
Okay. I have a lot of those. I'm an
I
idiot.
can't really justify it.
I'm a synchronized idiot.
Unsynchronized.
But we talked about this before. Board games are art, and art is subjective, and
right.
that's just where I stand with that.
Well, here's the thing, Ron. It may get released. You may try it out, and you may end up loving it.
That's true. That's true. Like I consider Wingspan a masterpiece now, whereas before I thought it was an okay game.
Thought it was for the birds, and now you love it.
Woof.
Yeah. So
Wah, wah.
man, I'm
I'll see myself out.
Need the crickets. Yeah.
I've hit on all these topics I've talked about in the recent past. And one final thing is I'm excited that I have the opportunity to go to Dice Tower East again.
Woo!
Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, so my wife is favorable towards my plan, which is for we're gonna come down early. We're gonna be there like the whole week, Sunday to Sunday. But we're gonna stay with some friends there in Orlando. But for the con, I'm actually gonna be in the Carib because I got a room in the Carib, and I
Nice.
said, because I want to stay there. And she's like, well, you work hard, like you deserve it, and so yeah, I'm gonna be looking for a roommate, but
So the family's coming, but they're
I wanna
staying
check-
off site. You're planning to stay on site so you can maximize the gaming time. That's what I'm hearing.
yes,
Awesome.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll find out if Mitchell's going because I know y'all have bunked up before. You were able to deal with the
Yeah.
smells emanating from Mitchell's side of the room.
The toe hair and the hobbit feet and all that. Yeah.
Middle of the night, he's braising some conies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. You guys, don't dog my friend now.
He likes Mitchell. Might be his roommate. Don't piss him off. Stab you in the middle of the night. Nice.
Well, all right, guys. I guess I'll hang out and listen to whatever you got. Oh yeah, I'm gonna update the board today.
We're gonna update the board tonight. Into the show, we're gonna
right.
we're gonna save. Make sure we save 20 minutes maybe to do some updating. So I'm gonna move a few things around. I've got a few games I'm gonna announce that I played that are not going to make the list. So stay tuned for
Right.
that. And then I've got a few that are gonna go on the list. So yep.
Nice.
We've already started writing down some of the games that we know are going to come on. It just hurts my heart, Ron, to know that I've got to remove games
Oh gosh, 20's
And-
not enough for you.
Time.
and seeing that Welcome to and Outer Rim are in the bottom three.
Oh yeah.
That hurts my heart. I'm going to have to get these games played again in order to
Bump 'em up
get
or
them
bring 'em
back on the list.
Yeah.
It's going to get so meta.
You're all right, man. You'll survive.
Good night, Ron.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for calling, Ron.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Have a good night.
See ya, man.
That's our buddy, Ron Frazier.
A regular.
From Hot Atlanta.
Woo.
Second caller of the night.
I'm glad he's going to make it for Dice Tower again. So his plans are working out. So that's good. I'm definitely planning to be there. I think you're planning to definitely be there. We've got the suite,
villas.
the villa. There you go. The villa is what they call it over there. So yeah, we're gonna bunk
Hopefully
up
we won't
together.
have the same issues we had last time with the hotel.
Oh yeah.
Where we brought like coolers full of steaks, but then we were told, sorry, your room doesn't have any kitchen like we promised you.
Yeah. So hopefully
So we had to send all the meat back with the boys on the way home.
we'll overcome.
man.
We'll fix that this year.
Mitchell's saying, thank you for defending me, Ron.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Says, I'll bring my sword and protect my roomie.
All righty. Went the other way.
He says, JK, don't think I'm making it this year. We will miss you, my friend.
Yeah. Maybe the next year. Phone line is back open, 813-619-7099.
Negative.
618.
618.
Got a
Go, go, gadget eyes.
618. That's tiny. 7099. I should know it by now. Hey, I know who that is.
I know someone who knows that number right
Yeah, they've got it memorized. Yeah.
now. Hello, Mr. Oben. Welcome to the show.
Hello and happy Thursday, gentlemen. This is Nick from Wesley Chapel.
Happy Thursday.
Nick.
Yes.
What's going on?
Hey, Michael. Hey, man.
Hey.
Michael, I was really excited that I'm not the only person who says, like, hold on a second, let me get something out of a freezer because it's relevant to the conversation.
Oh.
I think I saw that on the Dahmer show.
Oh, yeah. I got something over here in
Keeping
my
our-
freezer.
I'm keeping our watchers happy, man. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Something.
doing God's work. Speaking of things that are frozen, I have to call in at least every other week so that Rob can talk about Frosthaven, right?
Oh, how about you can talk about Frosthaven? I got lots of stuff.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
I love it. Yeah, we played Frosthaven last night. Got our first taste of the outpost section, which is the main
crafting phase, right? The new crafting,
double crafting.
Yeah. Yep. And it definitely hit on some neat new mechanics there, which got me excited. I mean, we basically played the entire first scenario, which felt very Gloomhaven-y, and then you finish up with the outpost phase when all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is like a totally new part of the game. Hey, what resources did you collect that now we can use to build a new building, which introduces a new character? And like Rob's got the audio portion of it, which is pretty neat. The app assistant, so you can like listen to the new character and he's telling you about his backstory, and then it turns out like, oh, you just unlocked this new character that you met, and it was neat. It was really, really cool.
A big new system in the Frosthaven from Gloomhaven. In Gloomhaven, you retire characters, you max them out, or you meet their personal goal, I guess their personal quest, and you retire them when you go back to Gloomhaven, and then that allows you to open up a new character. In Frosthaven, you are actually opening new characters by accessing new buildings. So it kind of changes up the way things progress in the system.
Nice.
Yes, it made a lot more sense, and it was like surprising how clean it was and how smooth it was. Whereas like we brought enough supplies back from our scenario to build a new building. In doing so, Frosthaven now has like a new shopkeeper, and that shopkeeper is a new character. It's like, of course it is, right?
Yep.
It felt very a video game RPG, right? Where like if the mission, like in the mission in the video game was to help build up this town, of course the video game would use that opportunity to introduce a new NPC that you could talk to and interact with. But here in Frosthaven, we'll be able to play him at one point. So pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, what help's a merchant gonna do in an adventure? Like who wants to play the fishmonger?
Yeah, we got the bear trapper, the trapper, I guess, was the new one. We opened up was the hunting lodge, I think it was. Yep, and the new character we opened up is a trapper. So they lay traps. They can lay different kinds of traps. Beneficial traps. They lay traps that if you step on it, you get health back. They lay traps that if the bad guy steps in them, it obviously does damage or does status effects or whatever. So it's kind of fitting. It'll be interesting to see where they go with all this, with all the new buildings that you can build, and then the opportunities for all the new characters. So
interesting.
Yep.
So would you guys say that this is it harder to play? I mean, is there so much more that you're, doing a lot of upkeep, or is it like fairly similar to what Gloomhaven is?
You can answer that, Nick, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, well, so actually, and it's a good time because I was thinking about that. We're talking just 24 hours ago, basically going through that experience. So the scenario was Gloomhaven. As far, for all intents and purposes, playing the scenario, playing down the two cards. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Gloomhaven battle system. Was one of the big things that was really, 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 really well done. So you play two cards every turn. Those cards determine your initiative and determine what you can do on your turn. That is all the same, playing out that scenario. In fact, all three of us talked about how we crushed the first scenario handedly. Like, at no time was it really scary. I made Rob a little nervous when I was like, hey, you don't mind if I just
take me down to 2 health. Let me just blow up a guy next to you, so it takes you down to 2 health. And I'm like,
I just wanted to play it. I wanted to play the card. Like, we got this. There's no risk. It's fine. You've been on 2 health. You're fine. I'll heal you next turn.
I was
take one for the team, Rob.
I was fine, but maybe a little nervous down to 2 health with a bad guy still standing in front of me. But that was fine. Yeah.
But I mean, we were just. I felt like I had breathing room to actually just try out cards and check out my new character and all that kind of stuff. So playing the scenario was just like Gloomhaven for sure. Then it really was like, oh, what do we do now in this outpost phase? it's a resource management thing plus like this felt more story based, more campaigny. Like, oh, we're going to build this town up now. That part was almost a separate game.
Yep.
Did have more upkeep. That's what it felt like. Now, this also is coming from a team of people. Me, Rob, and Joe. Not just me, but me, Rob, and Joe. The three of us have 200 hours into Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Right.
So any departure from the norm is going to feel like, whoa, this is so different, right? Just because we're so used to the, you do the Gloomhaven scenario ends, and then you just do the next Gloomhaven scenario, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing else. So having that outpost phase in there really did make it feel very separate. I think the two things might blend, but for folks coming from Gloomhaven going into Frosthaven, it may be something where you always kind of separate the two. It's like, well, we're playing a scenario, or break, separate thing. We're working on the outpost thing. Like for instance, and this actually, I guess, is the real indicator to this. We could have hit pause. We could have done the scenario and then packed it up and said, oh, we'll do the outpost phase next time.
3 of those.
And it wouldn't have actually felt weird to do that, because it really is like
Completely separate thing.
New separate thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And Mike, after some of the housekeeping stuff you asked about, yes, it was our first outpost phase, so it felt a little clunky because we're not used to it yet. Like, Rob was having to check the rules a lot, reading through. We did it on purpose. We were like reading through step at a time.
Yeah.
Now what do we do? But it does feel like that part of the game is going to pivot heavily from dungeon crawler, right, way over to Euro style resource management, town building, tableau building, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's going to feel like a lot more spreadsheety. We were even doing that. We were like, okay, if you do 3 wood and you do 2 metal and I got a hide, and then we've got this wild card thing. Like, how do we get the right number of cubes?
Yeah.
Right? There's no cubes, but that's what it was like.
And I want to jump in and say that, I mentioned before we even started the outpost phase. Actually, I think I mentioned this our first session when I was kind of looking for, because I'd already read all the rules for the outpost phase. I mentioned that it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because again, the 3 of us played all the way through Gloomhaven, and we got kind of a smooth system going. But now that we've got this outpost phase, it definitely introduces more decisions in the game. And because during the scenario, you're all collecting these drops, but you don't know what the drops are. When you kill a bad guy, he drops just a generic kind of satchel, a token that you put on the board. And then at the beginning of each scenario, you are building what they call a loot deck, which the game will tell you, take 6 money cards into the loot deck, take 4 hides, take 3 lumber, take 2 of this. And so you're shuffling that deck at the beginning, and then every time somebody steps on a loot to loot a tile, you're drawing the top card off the deck, so you don't know what you're going to get.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so different people are collecting different resources, but when you go back to the city, you can use resources to craft new items. When you craft items, you can only craft items with the resources that you have collected. You can, at no point in Gloomhaven can you give resources to another player. You can give resources to the town of Frosthaven, and if you do that, then they are really only used for building new buildings. So you can pull your resources by donating them to the town, and then you can decide how to spend those out of the town's pool to build these buildings, or you can use them to craft new items that are available at the there's a store in Gloomhaven, and then there's a crafting place that you can go to craft new items. But it's interesting with that. So again, there was a lot of decisions about, all right, who's going to donate what items to Gloomhaven, who's going to keep their items and pull them so that they can try to craft this new sword or this new type of armor or whatever that they can hold. And so it'll be interesting to see if this slows down the playing of the scenarios at all, because again, you've got this whole new step now where you're having to make these decisions and decide who does what and who's keeping what and who's donating what and there's a whole, we haven't touched on brewing potions.
Sounds like it would slow it down.
Yeah,
I mean, not in a bad way, but it definitely seems like it's going to add some time to your gameplay.
It's going to make it a deeper game, though, a richer experience. But go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I do think, I'm calling it right now, there will be a time, in fact, it may even be common, where we play the scenario and we do actually then wait to do the outpost phase until another time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it is going to slow it down. It is big decisions to make, and if the scenario goes long enough, we might just be like, look, man, we don't have time to spend an hour doing basically doing a whole other part of the game, when you really can just say, okay, time to take a break. We'll do the outpost phase next time.
And right? I definitely foresee that this is going to bring up more opportunities for us to disagree on things. And that's what I'm really interested to see how it play out, because there's going to be decisions here. Right now, I mean, just last night, we had to decide between building one of 4 new types of buildings, because we only had enough resources to do pretty much one thing, or spend all those resources crafting something, or spend all those resources upgrading one of the buildings that we already had. And so, I mean, there's a lot of new decision points, and I foresee that there's going to be points where, hey, I want to keep my stuff because I want to do, I'm trying to craft this thing, this item that, is really cool that I want to have, but then I understand that the group wants to open up the next level of the shop, so that, because every time you upgrade the shop, you add a new handful of cards in there that are now purchasable. So it's so there's going to be these big decisions on what's best for me versus what's best for the group, what's best for the town of Frosthaven. So it'll be interesting.
And actually, now that you're saying this, it is nice, because it's not that this game ever shies away from being a co-op game. It is still fully co-op.
Right.
But you're right. It is a little bit of a opportunity to be semi-co-op in that regard, because I mean, we collectively, the overarching long-term goal is, I think, to build up Frosthaven so it can survive, so we can all survive the winter.
Yep.
Because that's another thing we haven't talked about, is you basically get
Spoiler
10
alert.
scenarios. Yeah, well, no,
that's a spoiler, but
normal mechanics. You get 10 scenarios where it's still summer and it's relatively friendly, and then it switches to winter, and then you get 10. Then you play 10 scenarios during the winter, and then it switches back to summer. And so you're playing. Time is going as you play the scenarios.
I like it.
In the winter, the random events that get drawn are worse. They're harsher,
much harsher.
right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so you start in the summer. You've got 10 scenarios and therefore 10 outpost phases to prep Frosthaven for the winter, and then you got to survive 10 rounds basically as a group of winter. But like Rob said, well, I want to level up my dude. I know we probably need to reinforce that wall over there, but I need a new sword. So, winter's not for another 4 rounds away. I can see that totally coming up, right? Joe will be like, winter's 6 rounds away. It's fine,
Yeah.
And then 5 rounds go by and we don't get any more metal, and now we're screwed, whatever. It's gonna be good.
How many times per game session did somebody say winter is coming?
Not yet, but it's coming.
That's gonna be a thing. Yep. Yeah, 9 scenarios left, and then winter will be here. So winter is coming. Yep.
Now, what about the IP itself, the world that you're in? I mean, Gloomhaven is still a product available for purchase. What differentiates Frosthaven outside of this new phase where you're crafting and building buildings and sharing those resources, in regards to monsters, the enemies, even the player characters, that makes it different or feel different from Gloomhaven? What stands out?
I would say something that's been commented on. We haven't gotten very far into it yet, but something that's been commented on by some people who have some hours in. And I'll let you. I was going to buy you a little time to think, Nick, 'cause it sounded like you might want to think for a second. But the general comment has been that the characters, you start with 6 characters or classes available at the beginning, and the cards are a little bit more complicated in general than Gloomhaven was. So Jaws of the Lion was fairly simple. That was kind of a step. I don't know if you want to call it a step backwards, but it was kind of going back to the tutorial after they realized that Gloomhaven was maybe a little too much for most
unabashedly
people.
an introduction.
Right. So it's kind of a step back. First 5 scenarios kind of teach you a little bit of the rules at a time. The characters were a little more basic. The actions were a little bit more simple than Gloomhaven. Frosthaven seems to be a tiny step even further, and so we're finding that out actually. And we mentioned that, like Nick mentioned, we've got 200 hours into Gloomhaven. When we played our first scenario, and even our first with the tutorial scenario we played a couple of weeks ago, And then last night we played the first full scenario. We pointed out that our turns were taking much longer than they were when we were playing Gloomhaven, because these cards combo up in some really interesting ways, and we're still obviously learning the characters because they're brand new to us. So anytime you get a new character, you're going to take a little bit of time to try to figure them out. But I think even more than in Gloomhaven, some of these combinations are tricky. I think they have potential to be cooler, but they are a tick harder, I think, and that's been the general consensus I've heard. But go ahead with your thoughts, Nick.
No, yeah, and then Carlos, I think you were also asking about like the IP and the world in which it's set.
Yep.
Something I don't want to take for granted, and I will avoid spoilers, but like Frosthaven, I feel like is very much targeted at people who played Gloomhaven and will appreciate this race of people that have these characteristics over here, and this guy is going to be hard to play. I know because he's that race, and we didn't see that race in Gloomhaven until like 40 scenarios in, and they were crazy, that kind of thing. And so, like, I want to talk about, but like Rob had a character he played in Gloomhaven, and like right away, one of the starting 6 characters is that race. And it was like, oh, well, that's crazy. Like, how is that a starting character? And so, but it's really cool coming from Gloomhaven, being able to appreciate, because it is all new IP, but it's very D&D adjacent, right? And so I think the only race that technically is literally the same thing is the human. There's a human race in D&D, and there's a human race in Frosthaven, Gloomhaven world. But then other than that, D&D has gnomes, and Gloomhaven has the Quattrolls, and then D&D has like orcs, and we've got the Inox, and blah 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 blah. So knowing that IP coming from Gloomhaven, it's great to jump into that world again, seeing the races with their various characteristics. Everyone knows that orcs are strong. Everyone knows that Inox are brutes, right? All that kind of stuff. And so that's been really cool. But I have actually caught myself being thankful for appreciating how cool it is coming from Gloomhaven, and how I would, if I just picked up Frosthaven for the first time, like Rob, I think nailed it. It's more complex than Gloomhaven, and you are up a creek without a paddle if you don't even know what to expect out of this race, out of that class, right? Or whatever.
Sounds legit.
It's good though.
Which supports my, hypothesis that Frosthaven will probably not hit the top of the charts like Gloomhaven did, especially if this is a love letter to the Gloomhaven players.
I think so.
We're a niche within a niche within a niche now.
I think it is a better game, but it's a better game for the hardcore gamer. It's even more hardcore than Gloomhaven was by a small step, but yes, even more so.
Well, thank you, Nick.
No, you're good. I love you. You're great. Everything's great. What are we at?
Tiny Epic Vikings?
Almost at 20. Oh, yeah. Did you get him? Did you get did Rob deliver
He did not.
the goods?
He did not. I was rushing out the door and I forgot it.
Mother of pearl. Like, I had no idea that was even going to happen.
No, it's sitting there. I told Nick, I was like, if I don't give it to him tomorrow, I will make sure he gets an escape winner. And yep, I left it sitting right by the door.
I guess escape winner it is.
Yeah, it's going to be escape winner this weekend.
No, but that looks good. It's going to deliver, I'm sure, on the Tiny Epic Promise, which they always deliver on, is a full medium to heavyweight game in a tiny box. It looks really cool. Tiny Epic Midgard Rage, or whatever it is I called it. That was the Tiny Epic Vikings. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and James Odak was talking to me at our scout camp out last week that he's just been starting to learn to play Tiny Epic Dungeons, and I told him Carlos that was a big fan of that, and so he mentioned that he wants to get a game together.
Except for I can't win.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I told him how hard it was, and
maybe with Odak's brain power we can figure it out.
And he told me there was some kind of campaign thing now. I don't know if you have the campaign, but there's a campaign now where you string like 4 bosses togetger.
Yes.
And okay, so
I think it was part of the stories. The rules for that came into the stories expansion.
Okay, so he's wanting to get into that. So I told him to probably leave you out of the campaign thing, but yeah, he wants to learn it, and he wants to. I told him you were a fan, so I think he's going to try to seek you out, maybe even an escape winner.
Shoot, I might have to bring my copy.
Oh, I think he's got his.
Oh, he's got his. Yeah. Okay, even better.
Yep.
We can bring Rob will bring your Tiny Epic Vikings, and there you go.
I will.
You can do we can do Jim's Dungeons and your Vikings and have a great time. That sounds like a ton of fun. Dungeons and Vikings.
Tiny.
Yeah, you'll be there, right,
oh,
Nick?
yeah. No, I will not.
He will not.
I will not. I will actually. I know. I will actually be out of town in Jacksonville. Not to humble brag, but running a Spartan race. So, which is not really a brag in this group
nice.
at all. But no, I'm going to Jacksonville doing a Spartan Super. So it's the middleweight one. So it's a 10K with like 35 obstacles or whatever. So
Very nice.
that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yep, good time. Real quick, just shout out to Mitchell. It was actually really great to hear his voice on the show again.
Yeah,
That was
always
a lot
good.
of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Agreed.
Good stuff. All right. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll tune in for the rest of the show.
Thanks for calling, Nick.
Yeah, ranking board coming up.
Talk
Thanks
to
for
you again
calling,
next
Nick.
week. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Here it comes.
Bye-bye.
Do it.
Let's go.
Do it. You gonna cut the phones or?
Do it. Mitch says my tiny epic Vikings finally shipped today.
Oh, I've got Carlos's.
Mitch also says, "Love you, Nick."
Oh yeah.
I love all the love in the game, in the gaming
group.
community.
Yeah,
Our little game group we have here. All right, let's get into the
Wanna go to the
ranking
board?
board. So,
Yeah.
I
Cut
guess
the phones?
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's do that. Let's.
So if you didn't get in, sorry. Call next week.
And we'll
So
be
what do
quicker. I know
you-
today's show was a little slower.
Yeah, we got 30 minutes till 11. So I think we got
What
time
did
to get this in before.
what did you cap the number of games at? Is that 20?
20. Yeah. You have a camera that blows in, zooms in on that at all?
Not
could-
quite
A little
zooms
bit.
in, but it shows
Yeah,
the
it's a
whole
little
thing.
better. Yeah.
You got to go.
I didn't want to
full
have a
screen on
limit
that.
at all. I didn't want to have a limit at all,
I don't think
At
you
all.
limited it enough.
and that's what Rob felt.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel there's got to be some kind of fall off at some point. You want to kind of see games fall off the
Do you,
list, I
though?
think. I do.
Do you really?
I don't want to.
Yes,
I don't
you
want to
do.
look at 50 games. I want to look at 20. Yeah. Anyway, so he's adjusting some cameras here.
So trying to get some different angles to see if it helps. No, did not help one bit.
Ridiculous glare.
Did not help one bit.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
If you,
All right. So who's going first?
I was going to say, if you guys didn't limit it, man, this segment alone would turn into a 2-hour show.
Yeah, probably it could. Yeah.
Could be a show on its own.
We've had some good feedback. People seem to be liking this, so we're going to keep doing it.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna get this
Carlos is getting
set up here.
prepped. He's going to get up off the couch here. So, anyway, I know we've got at least one game that's a crossover because we played some games at the roller rink. Roller rink.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we had my son's birthday party at the roller rink, and I, of course, brought a bag of games
Of course you did.
and a flask of rum. I mean,
yeah.
what else would you do at the
What do you
roller
do at a roller skating rink, right?
rink? Bring rum
Drink
and board
play
games.
That's what everybody does at the roller rink, right?
My wife and I met at the roller rink. I've shared this story before, but I had my hip replaced about 7 years ago and was told I'm no longer allowed to skate.
Oh.
So even wifey was like, "All right, you're gonna bring some games."
Overrated.
She was trying to keep me busy because she knew that I really wanted to skate. So she was like, I even brought my skates and everything. Like I was, screw the rules. I'm gonna go out there and do this. As I got my flask of rum, and she's like, "No, just sit down, play little board games, drink, eat your little pizza." Just pat me on the head and let me go. So I brought my games. It was cool because we had some parents show up from the kids' parents, and one of them was an engineer.
Yeah.
Who was all down for the gaming.
Nice.
I wasn't sure how that conversation would go when you got some random parents show up. So we got in a full game of Biblios. Biblios is a 20-some title from a while ago. It's an older one.
Look it up, yeah.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I got it on the BGG here.
It is a card game. It's all cards with a little display with dice, but the dice are only used to dictate what the value of each of the sets are. There are 5 sets that you're trying to collect and have the most power in that set at the end of the game in order to win the value of that die that's attached to that set. So the points can range between 1 and 6 points for those dice.
Yep. 2007 release, designer Steve Finn, and the copy we've got is Yellow's version of it.
It's almost 20 years old.
Yeah,
That's
an
dang
old
near.
game.
Like we're getting there. 4 more years, I think it'll be 20.
Been there a little while.
It's a good game.
Yeah, 7.2 rating. It's what's the rank here? Overall 419. It's in the top 500. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
419. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid rating.
I like it because of its 2-phase aspect to it. There's a first phase called a gift phase,
Yep.
where you're having to draw a number of cards equal to one more than the number of players. When you draw those cards, you can draw them one at a time, so you can't see what's coming next, and you have to make a decision. Do I keep this card because I want to build on that set, right? Or do I tuck this card into the bidding deck because the second phase of the game is an auction? so I can put that card in the auction deck where it will be auctioned off later. So maybe I know what's going in there. I have an opportunity to plan for the auction phase of the game. And then finally, the third option is put it on the display where it's going to be given to the other players around the board. And that just adds this fun drama of, I'm going to draw this card and like, ooh, it's the color I want. It's the set I want. But it's not quite as powerful as I think it could be. So do I take this knowing I want to go for that color, that set, and maybe draw a better one? Or do I put that out for the other folks, right? So try to give it away. And then you make your decision. Let's say you give it out, and you draw again, and you find that you never find again that set, that round. So you kind of gave away what you wanted. That's a fun part. But
is this making your list then this week?
Oh, it
Sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to hit the board.
The second phase is a bidding phase where you auction off all those cards that went to the bidding stack, and then finally whoever has the most power in each set will win.
Do you want me to post it up? I
got it. It's not going that high.
All right.
It's not going past...
Right here in arm's reach? Then?
Yes, it's within arm's reach.
Switch the camera so we can get the board up there?
Oh, get the board back up there.
What's the bottom game that's dropping off there?
Oh, yeah, so it's
might as well
Guild
right
of Merchant
now.
Explorers coming off at number 20. And I'll just run up from bottom to top just to give you an idea where we're looking at. So right now he's got Welcome to at 19, Outer Rim at 18, New York 1901 at 17. 16 is Tiny Epic Kingdom, so he's sliding them down, so it must be going above. Seven Wonders Duel at 15. That surprised me. Pitch Car.
What?
Potion Explosion going down. He's got Tapestry next, Ethnos.
Didn't he just say it's not going that high?
That's what he said. Now it's almost in the top half.
Oh, my God.
But it's not that high.
You're going to put Biblios above
blasphemy,
Tapestry.
man.
I think so.
Ooh.
I think so.
Tapestry. We got Ethnos, Mosaic.
I'm going with 12. And the reason I'm going with 12, because again, this is not a scientific board, folks. It is about how much fun I had.
Yeah.
But then I also think about the game itself, right? Things that I give to that game that give it its ranking for me are its portability. This game is a small box game. It's basically a deck of cards with some dice.
Yeah.
I could literally put it in a Ziploc bag, the whole thing, and take it anywhere. We've played this at the food court, at the mall in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the things that add to why I put it up as high as I did.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to rate Biblios as well, so that's going to go on my board as well. So that means New York 1901 is coming off.
Oh, Wayne's going to cry.
Yeah, sorry, Wayne. Yeah, he's not here this week, so this was a good week to do it. Let that drop off. So I got Foundations of Rome at 19. That's going to slide. That's going to be down to 20. We've got Star Wars Outer Rim. Oh, I hate to do that to such a big game, and you mentioned that your Outer Rim is now down at 19. My Outer Rim.
But that's what happens when we played Outer Rim at 4-player with the expansions. It went so long.
Yeah, we got to try.
It just didn't make it that high on the board.
Alhambra, I have at 17. That's going to slide. Ready, Set, Bet at 16 is going to slide.
Makes sense. I've already lost mine. It came off my board a while ago.
Endless Winter. Ooh, how do you compare these two games?
It's hard, isn't it?
Quick little game, and then you got a big epic game. Endless Winter is going to slide for me. That's going to go down to 16. Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Which you had some good things to say about
this is going to be
Guild
a thing.
recently.
I'm going to pull Guild of Merchant Explorers and kind of set it aside because there might be some movement here. Uh-oh, Wayne's in the chat. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Just stopping by to say hi, and oh, my God, what happened? I can't read the rest of that. I got these old
It
dice.
says, just stopping by to say hi. Also, video game related, the Baldur's Gate 3 release date was announced today.
Okay.
So, wedding anniversary and BG3 release date. What a day.
Nice.
And then Blood Bowl 3, the video game, is going live today.
Nice.
It's a wonderful
He
day.
didn't mention that. He didn't mention that part. He knows better.
All right, so right now, back to the board. Endless Winter Kent down to 16. I'm going to put Biblios at 15. And I'm going to leave 14 open for now because there's going to be a little more sliding here. So that's going to be behind Furnace. That's going to be behind Lost Ruins of Arnak, but above Endless Winter and Ready, Set, Bet.
Well, hold
Mike,
on a second. Wait.
Yeah, Mike's got to chime in here.
You can't take a game off the board, regardless of where it shifts. Put that game back up there.
Yeah, wait to put.
You can't do that.
I'll shift. Well, this
He's
was
like
at,
the umpire.
This was at 15. So where would I put it? Do I slide it up, or do I choose to go up or down? Is that what?
Well, you got to
you're
make a
saying?
decision now. You've played the game. Make a
Okay.
decision on where it goes.
Okay, so I go ahead and redo this one.
Yeah,
I'll do this one
you've
next.
played. You've
Okay.
replayed Guild of
Well,
Merchant
I was
Explorers.
just going to put it on the side and then do it as a big epic thing in a minute, but I'll go ahead and do it now.
It's not that
We'll
good
go
of
ahead
a
and jump in. So Guild of Merchant Explorers. One thing I discovered when I played this a couple times with my sons and daughter, my daughter actually a couple times, and then my youngest son, not this last week, but the week before. I had only played let's call the intro board, the one that they recommend you start with. So
Right.
there are double-sided boards, and how many? I think it's 4 total. Is it 4 or 6? Actually, it might be 6. Might be 3 double-sided boards that you can play. Any case, I knew that the other ones did change up the rules, or it would add or change something about the game. I finally played a couple of those, and I am a little hooked. It really made the game better. I didn't realize that it was going to change it as much, but if you have played Guild of Merchant Explorers and you haven't played some of the other boards, with some of the other, there's 3 objectives, and each one you draw. Each board has a group of 6 cards, and you randomly draw 3 of them out. And so I felt that there wasn't going to be a lot of variability, but each one of the boards you play has a different stack of 6 cards, and they get much more complicated.
I want this game so much more now.
Than the intro one. Yeah. So this is definitely moving up my list a little bit. It's not a huge jump. But
I thought it was going. I thought it was going down your list. So that's why I was kind of calling you out. Okay,
that's why I was going to set it aside, because I want to move it up. So I didn't want to reveal
what I say back then. Go ahead.
what all's going to slide. So I had this behind Furnace. I'm going to slide this ahead of Furnace. Again, it's not going to make a huge jump. Lost Ruins of Arnak. That's going to be tough for me. Ooh. I'm actually only going to jump it up. I got to play some more, but I'm gonna just move it above Furnace. So I'm gonna move it from, it was 15. Furnace is gonna slide down to 14, and I'm gonna thanks for the assist. I'm gonna put this up here at 13.
Nice.
So it moves up 2 spaces for me.
Man, I just don't know if
a couple of plays.
Furnace. Maybe I don't agree, but that's okay.
Yeah, you
don't have to agree.
You don't have
You
to.
don't have
Don't
to.
have to agree.
Yep. All right, what's up?
That's what makes this fun. We don't
And
have to agree.
Mike, chime in. I want to go back to Biblios. You've played Biblios.
I've
with
never
us.
played Biblios.
You haven't.
Carlos has tried to get me to play, and I think other games just kind of came up. It was the.
I was gonna say, I thought we played this with like everybody in the group by now. Yeah. Okay.
Being a 4-player game is hard.
Yeah, it could be. Okay,
I do
well, you
want
got
to
play
play it
sometime.
though. I've heard very good things about it, so I definitely want to try it.
Okay. All right, Carlos, back to you.
All right, so I'm coming through with Smartphone Inc., game by Arcane Wonders.
Now we're talking.
It's gorgeous. It's flat out gorgeous. Had a couple of plays of it recently to include the 2-player board. There's an update 1.1, which includes an expansion with more goals. It includes a CEO mechanism, but most importantly, includes a 2 to 3-player board. So I've had some plays of this. I think 3 plays now in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, the last couple of weeks. So you played more than that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But in the last couple of weeks,
Okay, yep.
been able to get some plays in, and it just reminded me, aesthetically, it's just so pleasing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so minimalistic. It's
And
just
it
good.
plays so fast.
Insanely fast.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, it's round 4 already?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's only one more round? I got to make some phones.
Yep. You got to figure it out.
I was explaining this last week when I played that Dogs of War. I was like, oh man, you know what makes it so good is like when you're explaining the game to somebody, like a Smartphone Inc. You're like, okay, there's going to be, I forget what it is, 5 rounds or whatever, and you're like, there's 8 phases per round, and when you say that, people's eyes kind of like, oh my god, 8 phases. But then you go through each phase, and then when you actually start playing the game, you're like, boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's the end of round 1. They're like, whoa, this game really is playing fast,
Yeah.
It's so good, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It just connects so easily because of the iPhone style iconography that matches the actions on the board. So I'm going to take these tableaus and I'm going to set them in a certain manner in order to indicate what actions I want to take. Yeah. And then I just look at the board and see how many matching app icons do I have on my tableau. And then I know how many phones I'm making, how many upgrades I'm doing, to researching technology, how many logistical moves I'm making. It's so simple to teach.
Yeah, and the fact that it's all printed on the board, step by step by step, it's real user friendly.
Yeah, and you look for the
welcome to
all
has
the
to go.
iconography. Oh man, welcome
That's
to
sad.
That's tough. I hate to see that.
Outer Rim's gonna go because I got another one after this, and we are definitely above pitch card. Definitely
Pitch Card's
above.
going down. Potion Explosion, Tapestry, Biblios, Ethnos. Oh, it's not going above Mosaic. No chance.
Oh, no
chance. No chance. It's going above Mosaic.
But Mosaic has had some more plays.
Yes.
So it is getting re-racked.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not too worried about
you wanna
Mosaic.
slide
It is
Mosaic
getting
to the-
re-racked.
to the
Oh,
side.
so move it off to the side then, yeah.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
he's moving it down. But
And the
all
more
right,
you
he's-
guys talk about Mosaic, man, I have to play that game now. But anyway, get back to your board.
it's good. I might adjust Mosaic on my board too because I've played recently. So.
What are you moving now?
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, we got to read them out. So Mosaic went down to 11, Shogun down to 10, Radlands to 9, Furnace down to 8. You've got Smartphone now at 7 with Lost Ruins of Arnak 6 and Gizmos 5.
I kind of feel like the Lost Ruins in Arnak is that DMZ demilitarized zone, that border for me.
It's got to be real good.
It's got to be really good to get past
Lost Ruins.
Lost Ruins for me. Or the event of me playing it had to have been really, really fun. Like Gizmos.
Okay, yeah.
The time we played Gizmos was so much fun the 3 times we played it.
Memorable.
That it just made it more memorable than Lost Ruins. But no, Smartphone, for all the reasons that Mike shared, it's simplicity, it's minimalistic, it's easy to teach.
It's
and
beautiful.
It flies
It's got
so
that
fast.
minimalistic look to it that some people love it or hate it. I happen to love it.
A lot of white
Yeah.
space on the board.
Yeah.
So I got a comment. So I haven't played it recently. It's been, at least 6, 7 months, 8 months since I played it. So I need to get a play in so I can maybe get it ranked. But
Take it home.
for me, that's probably a little high. But I don't know. I got to play it. I got to see. So, but I've played it. I played it 4 or 5 times now, and so I think I've played it enough to know. But okay.
I got a little heart space saved for economic games. Like
Okay.
I really do like economic games.
Above Randlands, though, I'm a little surprised at that too. But again, those are 2 games that are kind of hard to compare.
They are.
so different.
Yeah.
So
But there is an a variant built into the game with the new expansion,
okay.
and it provides a cost for each action that you have to spend in dollars
Oh,
or
yeah.
victory
Yeah,
points.
that's right.
So depending on what actions you show, how many you show, you're going to lose money. It takes it to that hardcore level, it calls it, literally titled hardcore. So
Yeah.
I think I got to try that.
Definitely. And then you've got the
Nice.
solo version where you're playing against what do they call him?
Steve.
Steve Jobs. Yeah, there you go.
Steve, the solo player.
Yeah.
All
Robert, what
right.
you got next?
All right, my next one is going to be again, these are so hard to do, but a game I played recently that I hold a lot of love for, little 2-player card game, Hanamikoji. And it was actually something I mentioned earlier in the show, one of my
Another
favorite
good one.
little 2-player games.
We'll
So-
lead up to the ranking board.
Yeah, so this is gonna make it on the board. So that means Foundations of Rome. That's gonna hurt William. So I hurt Wayne. Now I'm hurting William on this, but Foundations
You're
of Rome's
hurting
gonna come off
me,
for me.
man.
He's cutting everybody.
Yeah. I'm cutting deep. So
This
it means
is really better than Foundations of Rome for you?
Hanamikoji. Yeah, so Foundations of Rome for me is
That's a quick,
really
simple fun,
basic.
right? Patrick Havard,
Yeah, quick, simple fun. Yeah, so Escape Winner.
who's running Escape Winner right now. Shout out to
Yep.
our man Patrick Havard.
I like this game a lot. Yeah, they brought this over. This was a big game in Japan for a couple of years, and then Quick Simple Fun and a couple of others here in the States brought it across. And I like this game a lot. I taught this to Dan over at Your Turn
taught
when
it
we
to
were
me.
in. Did I teach it to you? I
You
taught
taught
it
it to
several
me
people.
and Dan when we were at your house. That was the first time I
Okay.
ever played it.
Gotcha. And I maybe Dan forgot them because I retaught him when we were in St. Louis, and he was like, "This is a good game." So I think he picked up a copy for the shop for the cafe. But anyway,
Yeah.
so this is us Outer Rim sliding. Alhambra's going to slide. I mean, this probably isn't going to go real high again. It's hard for me to rate 2-player games. I'm a heavier gamer. I like people at the table. But I mean, there's a lot of interaction in this game. 2 players, you're always going to have a lot of interaction. But Ready Set Bet's going to slide down.
Yeah.
Endless Winter is going to slide down. These ones aren't hurting me so much. Biblios that I had just put up there. Ooh, that's tough. Okay,
Biblios does well even at 2.
Yeah. Because of Biblios's 3 and 4 player, I think I'm going to put it below Biblios. I'm going to put it at 16.
I can see that.
You
I can see
like
that.
You like
I
that?
can see that.
Good,
That's not
good choice. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right, Mike. You got any? Do you think maybe it shouldn't have made the board, Mike?
Well, for me, Foundations of Rome would have been, again, some of these games that you have on your list I've never played before, but
Sure.
Hanamikoji better than Foundations.
You know what it is? He paid for Foundations of Rome.
That's
So
he's
it
got an
automatically
investment.
weights
Yeah.
it
He's got an
all the way
investment.
up on the
No,
board.
no, no.
'cause
It's just a fun. It's a very easy to teach game, and Yeah, well,
I think
mean, hey,
Hanamikoji is more thinky than Foundations, and so that lends a little more into my preferences. But you don't agree?
can argue that. I think the base Foundations of Rome. I think you're accurate by saying that
Okay.
Hanamikoji probably has tougher decisions to make.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it's a little more up my alley for that reason.
Yep.
I like
Okay.
Foundations of Rome. I think Foundation looks great. I think it's a great production, but it doesn't have the at least the base game. And I played with the leader upgrades or the personal objectives or whatever that you're trying to meet.
Oh, you have?
And
Okay.
yeah, those add a little to it, but still not enough for me. Not quite enough meat on there.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
All right, Carlos, back to you.
Yep. I'm going on this trip. Like Wayne has got me on this trip of playing some older titles, some really established games. And this title, I believe, is 2015-ish, if I remember correctly.
Old games,
Old
2015.
2015. Ancient. Not even 10 years.
It's a Feld title, right? Concordia and Feld?
I don't believe it is. I'll double check, but I think if we looked last time and it was a designer that I didn't recognize.
Okay. Concordia. And it's again, I'm back to these economic games. I've been on this trip, like really loving and playing these economic games, using resources to make goods, to sell goods, to make money, right? Or victory points is just really hitting hard with me right now.
Yeah.
And Concordia was recommended to me, to us, Robert, a while ago.
Yeah.
You got some plays in it. You talked about how you liked it.
I liked it a lot. Mac Gertz.
Oh, Matt Gertz, yes.
That's it. Gertz. Yeah.
Who does a lot of Rondell style
That's
games.
right. Yep.
And you talked about this one, Rob, in the way the cards work. That this was, I think, one of his first divergence from the Rondell,
Okay.
where he tried to emulate the Rondell, but by using cards instead, almost like
Scoring of this is so unique.
almost
I
like
don't know
Century
why-
Spice Road.
I don't know why more games haven't taken that scoring idea at the end of the game and implemented that. I mean,
Because it's hard.
It is. It's
like the scoring is hard. Every single card you use in Concordia has a scoring formula, system, mechanism.
multiplier. Yeah.
Right, so it's going to score differently each card that you grab because they go to, I think, 6 or 7 different Roman gods of that
About right,
time.
6 or 7. Yeah.
And each one of those gods scores differently. So not only are you buying these cards to draft them into your hand for use,
To make you start with a hand of like some basic things, but you're drafting these in most cases better versions of what you start with.
of the actions,
Yeah.
because each card is an action.
Right.
But it also at the bottom tells you how you score. So it's like, I want the card because I want that action, but I'm also getting an ability to score that card on its own later. So I better be making sure I'm doing what that card wants me to
Right.
do. Because I could draft all these cards to get these cool actions, but if I draft a bunch of cards and I don't try to meet its goal, it's
Yeah.
not going to score me any points in the end of the
If
game.
you want to lean heavy into one path, you just try to get all of the purples and then really do what purple wants you to do, and you can score a ridiculous
Each card
score.
will score on its own
Yeah.
over and over and over. So like if it scores you for the number of colonists you have on the board, you want to get all your colonists out and then get as many of those card types
That color,
so
yeah.
you can trigger that scoring over and over and over. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's unique. It's really cool.
So where's this one going to land?
Camera, real quick, switch back to the big
Oh
board.
yeah, big board.
big
Put it on the big board.
All right.
Outer Rim is gone. We'll see you again, my friend.
I don't have it on my list yet. I haven't played it recently, but yeah, I mean, this would be up pretty high on my list.
I'm not even talking. I'm just kind of sliding stuff down.
So we've mentioned all these that he's sliding right now. There goes Shogun, Radlands, Furnace down to 9. Smartphone.
It's getting hard.
We're getting to smartphone. No, well, okay. Smartphone's coming down to 8. Lost Ruins at 6. You mentioned that's the
I don't know.
demilitarized
I
zone,
think I'd
the
rather play
DMZ.
Smart. No.
Concordia. You need to play some more Concordia. You've only played it, once or twice now?
No, 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times now? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and we just got the 2 to 3 player board, Britannia in.
I want to try that.
So
Yeah.
it tightens it
I need
up.
to try that. I've played it at like whatever the max is. It was at 6 players or something. Ooh. Oh, above
Lost Ruin is getting dropped.
that
Wow.
One notch.
That felt sudden.
I'm sorry. Gizmos as well.
Gizmos. Oh, Gizmos is coming down. Concordia to 5. Gizmos to 6.
But I don't think I can go over Crusaders.
Crusaders, I will be done. Still going to hold on at 4.
Yep.
Want to think about it for a second?
Top 5. Concordia, top 5 for me.
Top 5. Nice. It
Wow.
would be my top 5 as well. I got to agree. It'd be up there around Trajan, probably above Trajan. Might even bump unsettled for me. I've got unsettled to 3, but I don't want to spoil anything. I got to play so I can get it ranked. So I got to play it. Yeah.
You got any more additions?
I don't have
to
any
the
more
board?
written down. I was going to just run over. I'll make this brief because I know we are just a few minutes, 5 minutes away from the hour.
I forget how long the rankings take.
Yeah,
It's at least a half hour.
So I say, we got to leave at least 20, 30 minutes at the end of the show. So a few recent plays that aren't going to make the board. Seven Wonders Architects. I know I'm in the minority on this. A lot of people, there you go, the shooting the bird. But I know that doesn't make people happy when I say that. Seven Wonders Architects is a fine game for me. It's just too light. Give me the full Seven Wonders. Give me Seven Wonders Duel, head-to-head battle type.
I do have to agree with you. Seven Wonders Architects.
Yeah.
I played it and it didn't make the board.
Yeah. So it's a fun game. It's a fine game. Shadows over Camelot, I mentioned last show that I played that recently. I enjoyed that a lot. I don't feel like I can rate it yet after one play. That's based so much on experience and who you play with and things like that. And I had a good experience, but I need to play that at least 1 or 2 more times before I can rank it. Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. Jim brought this to the camp out. James Odak brought this to the camp out, and we played a game. I taught it to him. I love Imperial Settlers. I love 51st State. I love that whole system.
I don't care for the roll and write at all.
I don't either. It really blew it for me. And he just had the pencil and the paper. When I play this game now, I have to have my Imperial Settlers with all of the resources, the little wooden resources, to help me keep track of what I've spent and what I've done. Otherwise, you're just making tick marks on a piece of paper and then crossing out your tick marks to try to keep track of how many workers you have and stone and wood and all that. And I just don't enjoy that. So I told him I would teach it to him, but I was like, I don't enjoy it this way.
I will say, and I think you'll agree with me, Rob, that the Imperial Settlers Roll and Write app is actually really good.
It is. It's real light, quick, and easy to play. I do like that. And again, the app keeps track of the resources for you, so it's real easy to tell. I'm spending a worker, I'm spending a wood. I'm spending a worker, I'm spending a stone. So it's
Mitchell,
real.
I will allow your comment about this roll and write because you are correct. It's hot garbage.
Read it to Rob. His glasses
What does
aren't
it say?
on.
I didn't put my glasses on. So what does it say?
Imperial Settlers Roll and Write is hot garbage, says Mitchell.
I agree. I agree entirely.
Can't argue.
James enjoyed it. He liked it as a roll and write, but I told him if you like playing it, you got to make sure you strip your resources out of your Imperial Settlers if you have it. Makes the game a lot better. But even with the resources and everything, it's not going to make my list. So, Regicide. We played Regicide at the roller rink. This is basically just a deck of cards. Carlos has the full retail version of it, which he was a little.
I think we
disappointed
taught Michael
by.
this at Escape WinterCon a few years ago.
Yes,
I bought a deck of Marvel playing cards just to play this game, actually.
I like hard cooperative games. Regicide is ridiculous. we've played this. We've played this probably 10 or 15,
man.
10 or 15 times. We've never made it past halfway. We never made it past the second queen. So, and you got to beat 4 jacks, 4 queens, and 4 kings, and we haven't even made it to the kings. We've made it. I say a couple of times we've made it to the second queen, and then we get destroyed. So I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's taking the damage that hurts.
Yeah,
having a discard for damage and not being able to have it. Oh, it hurts.
It's so hard. So that's it. The only other game I want to do, and I'm going to think about it for just a minute while Carlos runs over whatever he wants to run over here, is Mosaic. I played that again a couple times recently, and so I'm gonna adjust my rating on Mosaic a little bit.
I'll join you in that one because I'm also I played 4 times in the last 6 days of Mosaic.
All right, no, I got to check out my board. So, any others you played that didn't make the list?
Oh yeah, well you think for a second there. So some of the games that I've recently played didn't make the list. Let's see, Seven Wonders Architects with Robert on that one.
Yeah.
Salem 1692. We had played that at the game day. That one's not making the list. It's a hidden roll deduction game, social deduction game. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Although I love it, it's a good game. I can't say that I would put it above. I mean,
New York
Tiny Epic Kingdoms is starting to drop. I brought this with me to the roller rink. I just thought it might be a bit much to teach a new dad.
Yeah, probably.
So we didn't get it played. Massive Darkness 2, not because I don't like it.
Got to play more.
I've had more plays of it. I'm just not ready to fully rate it. Like it is a campaign game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not a campaign game. It is a dungeon crawl game. I think it deserves a few more plays before I give it a full rating. But it will make the board before the year's up.
Frosthaven will make mine, of course. Once I play more Frosthaven, I'm going to put Frosthaven up here. And then I did just start. I know I mentioned in the chats, the Discord, that me and the family started playing Destinies, which is a game I got for Christmas, and I am really digging Destinies. I think Destinies
better than Unsettled.
Pretty high on here. It's got a chance to knock Unsettled down. I'm liking it a lot. We were only about an hour in. Each session's 3 hours, but you can save, so we went an hour and saved. saved it. But have you played?
I
Mike?
did
You got a
not.
comment?
I
Oh,
backed it on
it's good.
Kickstarter, and I played I'll be honest. I
Yeah?
probably should have played it a few more times. It just
Okay.
never hit the table, so I ended up selling it. But I played it twice solo, and I was just kind of like, I don't think this is for me. And I typically love games where you're exploring. I love exploring games, especially if there's
Seventh
like a fog of
Continent.
war. Yeah, fog of war type that Destiny's has, where you can kind of see what might be coming up, and then you flip it over. And I will admit, it's a game I probably need to play again to see how I really like it. Actually,
I've heard it really polarizes people. People either really like it or they don't. And so
I'm just very surprised it hit home this hard for you.
It did. I'm really liking it, and the kids are really liking
cool,
it too.
man.
So, and then it's got me excited about the almost the second Kickstarter I ever backed. The only thing I've ever backed on Kickstarter is Frosthaven. Almost the second one I was going to back was going to be Dark Quarter, which is based on the Destiny system, set in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
So torn on that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be Arkham style Cthulhu,
Very
New Orleans.
dark.
So yeah, very dark.
Adult themes.
The art is very dark in that one.
I think I'm going to really regret not backing that, but I'm going to be grabbing that as soon as it hits retail. But anyway, so I gotta move Mosaic here. Mosaic is going to move up.
Up. It's already at 5.
Yeah, it's at 5. It's gonna go past Trajan. So
Just
Trajan
letting
is
you
gonna
guys
slide.
know you hit your 2-hour mark. So
Okay, already. Crap. I got 30 seconds according to my watch.
I'm running out of internet.
I'm gonna go. Oh my God, Unsettled. I need to play Unsettled some more. I am going to move it temporarily ahead of Unsettled. I'm going to keep it below Blood Rage. So I'm going to put it in the 3 spot. I'm going to slide down Trajan. I'm going to slide down Unsettled. And Mosaic is going to number 3 for me behind Blood Rage and Brass Birmingham. Yep.
wow.
Rob had a recent play at your turn. I think they played 4 players. Yeah. I'm taking it with me to Escape WinterCon in hopes, because I think it plays up to 6.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know 6. I thought it was 5. But
is it 5? It might be 5. I have it right here behind me.
or I can look. Yeah, on the app real quick. But
Move my beer.
hold my beer.
It doesn't say. Somebody figured it out. Is it
I'll look
up
it
to
up while you
5? I
talk.
think it's 6. Like, I want to get this one at a full player count. I want to feel what the full player count feels.
It's 6. Yep.
6,
It
yes.
says best at 4 or 5.
I can imagine how tight the board is going to be with 6 players.
Yeah.
All the military units out there affecting influence. You know, I had originally called this game what Tapestry should have been when it came to a Civ builder. I took it off my board already.
I played it at 5 last time, but go ahead. Yep.
It was just above Tapestry, but now we're going at 10, so we're in our top 10. We're above Smartphone.
Lost Ruins. That's your DMZ.
It's
Demilitarized zone, baby. Is it crossing the line? Is it going to get in battle?
it's good.
It's good. I like it a lot. And Nick keeps telling me he's just kicking himself every time we talk about it on the show. Because
He did mention it in the chat that he's going to get his copy open this
I
weekend.
told him I'd teach him anytime. I'd love to play it again. I played it 5, 6 times now.
Oh, I'm up there with you.
Yeah.
It's crazy good. Let's see how many
You've been doing
plays.
some 2-player.
I have currently played this game 7 times.
Okay, I'm behind you then. I think 5 or 6.
And this is where it gets rough. Top 5. Top 5 are
I've got it
good.
at 3. I've got it at 3.
Top 5 are good.
Yeah.
What's
You
your
can come meet
top
me.
5, Carlos? I can't read.
He's at
Brass Birmingham.
Castles Burgundy, Cascadia, Crusaders That Will Be Done, and Concordia, the new number 5, maybe for 30 seconds. and then it slides. Concordia. So you played both of these really recently, Concordia, and Concordia's going to 6. So it is above Concordia. So,
Man, I really like Crusaders.
Oh, so both of you, New York
Apparently.
is going to drop off the list for both you today.
no, he's just sliding Mosaic up. So
Oh,
that's not,
okay, all right.
Yeah, so New York's going to
I'm giving it top 5. It's not going to be the
Number
last
5.
time I play it. I will have more opportunities
Yeah.
to play with
That's
it.
the way I feel too. I can adjust it. I need to play Unsettled again because it's been a little while.
You throw it up there in the top 3 and I
Yeah.
can adjust it. There's not much room to go up there.
Oh, I can go down a step. I know. Unsettled. I got to do Unsettled again. I don't know if it's going to pass Blood Rage. We'll see. Blood Rage is still. I like Blood Rage a lot.
How do we drop a game though? Like I guess we have to play it again.
Play it again.
Yeah, that's the rule. Got to play it again.
Yep.
There it is.
I got to get a list like this going, man, just to force me to play more games because.
Yeah, that's why I kind of feel like I got to play at least 1 or 2 every week. Otherwise, I'm going to come and Carlos is going to have stuff to put
Or
up and I'm
play
not.
games that are already on there just to
Yeah.
reaffirm its position.
Readjust them.
And yeah, Michael, if you get a board going over there, that's definitely part of the segment, man. You get your own board up there. We talk about where you're putting your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the call-in. I'm enjoying the ranking board. I think we have some fun stuff going on here on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might come up with like a digital solution so I can just share my screen and then it'll automatically bump my stuff down, as I'm sliding the tiles in there. So
There's
anyway.
something to be said about having a physical aspect
Carlos
to it.
loves that. Yeah,
I know, but
he's definitely not on the digital side.
We're already over the 2 hours. I think if I were sliding things around, it would only take up more time, and it's really the focus is on you two guys. So I don't want to take away.
Of
from
course.
That,
Whatever. Whatever. Get out of here with that. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, folks, that gets us to our more than a 2-hour mark of the show.
Just over.
We want to thank you all for joining us. For those of you that are going to Escape WinterCon, say hi. We will be out there. I think I'll be out there Saturday. Rob will be out there Saturday as well. Saturday, Sunday for Rob.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's my son's birthday weekend. So we got a church event Sunday followed by birthday stuff for the boy. So I won't be able to make it out there Sunday, but I will be there Saturday.
Cool.
So catch you all next week. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
We are the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice
Thanks, everybody.
podcast. Don't forget to
Bye,
like
everybody.
and subscribe.